Beginning with a gentle golden wind and light rain, the master of ceremonies, with a single stroke, surprises the world. This video is purely for entertainment, and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting, and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1, The Owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, the Invincible Swordsman Bei Xianyu. Dazhao, Lingnan County, Qingcheng. In the hall of a garden-like house, Su Chen looked at the people standing in front of him with a bad face. These people include old men and middle-aged strong men. They all exude a faint and tyrannical aura. It can be seen that these people are not weak. Young building owner, the building owner has passed away. Please succeed the position of the building owner of Lingnan Jinfeng Xiaoyu building. One of the old men with some white beard spoke. The old man was wearing a grey robe. Although he looked a little old, his aura was very strong. He was the strongest person among these people. He was also the deputy building owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu building, Ling Xian, and his strength was in the middle stage of Xianshan. And Su Chen was the only seedling of the former building owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu building, Su Mengbei. As for why Su Chen was asked to succeed the position of the building owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu building, that was because Su Chen was not only the son of the former building owner, he was also a disciple of Shanman, one of the 10 major sects in Lingnan County of the Dazhao dynasty. If he didn't take over the position of the building owner, who would be suitable? But Su Chen was unwilling to become the owner of the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower. The Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower is one of the 5 major forces in the remote Qingcheng of Lingnan County. His father, Su Mengbei, who was at the peak of innate strength, died for no reason a few days ago. From where you look, there are many things involved. If he takes over the position of the owner, he will inevitably encounter danger. Of course, the main reason is that his strength is too weak. He can't hold the position of the owner. It's better to return to the mountain river gate, which is safe. But he needs to take things back. The current Su Chen is both Su Chen and not Su Chen. Some time ago, Su Chen returned from the mountain river gate. As soon as he returned home, he knew that his father had died. Suddenly his eyes went black and he died. Su Chen, who traveled from the earth, occupied his consciousness. Although he occupied his consciousness, Su Chen only got some intermittent memories of the other party. Among these memories, the reason for returning to Qingcheng was to ask his father for help. He offended a disciple of a mountain elder in the mountain river gate and promised to give the other party a sum of money to let the other party let him go. So he returned to the Golden Wind and Rainy Rain Tower to look for his father. But now his father was dead and the Golden Wind and Rainy Rain Tower was controlled by the deputy tower owner Ling Xian. He couldn't get the money even if he wanted to. Now he returned to the Shan Gate and he couldn't pay the money, which would definitely be bad luck. But as the tower owner of the Golden Wind and Rainy Rain Tower, he would probably die soon. And with the gang of people under him, could they really believe that he could become the tower owner? It was definitely impossible. The deputy tower owner Ling Xian might not be happy in his heart. His strength had not yet entered the Xianshan realm, while the other party was in the middle stage and was about to enter the late Xianshan realm. There was a big difference in strength. How could he be willing to let himself become the tower owner? Young tower owner, you are the son of the tower owner, and only you can inherit the position of the tower owner. Please take your seat today. When Ling Xian spoke, he stepped forward and grabbed Su Chen and put Su Chen in the position of the tower owner of the Golden Wind and Rainy Rain Tower. Then he immediately knelt down. Greetings to the tower owner. When he knelt down, a group of people behind him immediately knelt down. Su Chen was confused. He didn't expect such an operation. How could this group of people be so shameless? At this time, a round roulette appeared in Su Chen's sea of consciousness. Become the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower and get the character magic sword Invincible Bei Xianyu, Ice Unicorn Arm, and 3 white lottery cards. Su Chen was stunned. Unexpectedly, his golden finger was triggered at this time. After crossing over, he had been thinking about using the golden finger, but he just didn't use it. Now the golden finger has been triggered, and he has received the reward. The character magic sword Invincible Bei Xianyu, Ice Unicorn Arm. At this time, Su Chen found that a roulette appeared in his sea of consciousness. The roulette was divided into 5 pieces, and the color of each piece was white, blue, orange, purple, and gold. The data on the white one showed 3. It should be that he just got 3 white lottery cards. The consciousness moved to the blue area, and a message appeared in his mind. 10 white lottery cards can be merged into 1 blue lottery card. The consciousness moved to the orange area, and found that there was no prompt information. This is not yet activated. Then Chen checked the situation of the invincible divine sword Beishai. Beishai is a character from Border Town Wanderer, the master of the divine sword hall. Strength, early stage of soul refining. Seeing this information, Chen showed a look of astonishment on his face. Early stage of soul refining. The head of Shanman, one of the 10 major forces in Lingnan County, is only at the soul refining stage. As for what level of soul refining he is at, he doesn't know. So Beishai is considered a strong man. With such a powerful person to protect him, he can completely run rampant in Qingcheng. At this time, Chen was secretly happy, and summoned him directly, to protect himself in the dark. As long as you have the intention to kill, I will kill you with 1 knife. Ling Xian, who was kneeling below, saw the astonished look on Chen's face and immediately showed a hint of coldness. Although Chen looked astonished, he still noticed Ling Xian's expression. After this period of time, I will kill you. He thought to himself. Why didn't he become the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower himself? The main reason was that he knew something about the cause of Su Mengbei's death. Knowing that, he didn't dare to become the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. He didn't want to die like Su Mengbei. His strength was not as good as Su Mengbei. After kneeling, Ling Xian stood up. Everyone, the young owner inherited the position of the owner today, which is a happy event. We should inform the public of this news. The owner still needs to adapt, so let the owner stay here alone for a while. Ling Xian said after standing up. Lord, we will leave first. You adapt first. Without waiting for Chen's order, this group of people left the hall, leaving only Chen. Chen looked at the back of Ling Xian and his people leaving. His eyes were stunned at first, but then a cold light flashed. This is really using me as a puppet and a shield, and not hiding it at all. Spread the news of my succession. Are you afraid that others don't know? I guess you want to test whether the person who attacked Su Mengbei will attack me. If the other party doesn't do it, you will do it too. Chen said with a chill in his heart. But I couldn't do anything to you before. But now he has obtained the divine sword Wudi Beishai and Bing Kilin arm. It shouldn't be difficult to kill you with such means. Trigger the task, find out the cause of death of the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, help the predecessor to avenge, and get 3 white lottery cards. 3 white lottery cards. Chen looked at the information on the task scroll and narrowed his eyes. Now he has 3 white lottery cards in his hand. If he gets 3 more, it will be 6, and then some other tasks will be triggered. It shouldn't be a big problem to get 10 cards. As for investigating the cause of death of the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, whether there is a task or not, Chen will investigate it. The other party killed the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, and he took over Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. The next person to die may be himself. What's more, the enemy is in the dark, and he is in the light. He doesn't want to die like his father whom he has never met. Thinking of this, Chen walked down from the chair, and walked towards the backyard of the hall. He wanted to ask his cheap second wife what was the cause of his father's death. Chen's own mother died a long time ago, and now Su Mengbei's wife is not Chen's biological mother. Chen had always called her second wife. In the backyard of the mansion, in a 2-story building, a beautiful woman sat on the pavilion with a trace of sadness on her face, giving people a feeling of pity. It was the second wife mentioned by Chen, named Shangwen Xian. Chen became the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu building. Shangwen Xian asked a maid beside her. The matter in the front hall just happened, and the news was known here, which shows that Shangwen Xian has been paying attention to the situation in the front hall. Just now, the news came from the front hall that Master Su has been nominated as the owner of the building by Deputy Building Master Ling and others. A little maid beside her said. This Deputy Building Master Ling is really cunning and wants to make Chen a scapegoat. Have you found out the cause of Su Mengbei's death? Shangwen Xian continued to ask. She did not call Su Mengbei master or husband, but called him by his name, which seemed very strange. Chapter 2, Ice Killing Arm. One step into the innate. The backyard of the mansion. Su Chen walked forward in the corridor, thinking about his current situation. The killing arm can help him improve his strength. Although he doesn't know to what extent it can be improved, it should be able to improve himself a lot. What's more, even if his own strength is not good, with the protection of master like Bei Xianyu, he will not be in trouble in this small King Cheng. Put aside his own trump card. Su Chen began to understand the situation of the Golden Wind and Rain Tower from his memory. The Golden Wind and Rain Tower is one of the 5 major forces in King Cheng. The other 4 forces are called the Li Tang controlled by the Lei family, the Juxian Tang founded by the 5 brothers of the Zeman family, the Dining Hall controlled by the old family Power Wang family, and the largest temple in King Cheng, the Vajra Temple. Although King Cheng is a remote area of Lingnan County, it is also one of the passages connecting the outside of the Great Wall. In this way, King Cheng is also a place for trade with the outside of the Great Wall, so relatively speaking, it is still a relatively economical city. Among the 5 major forces, except for the Vajra Temple, the other 4 families divided up the 4 major urban areas of King Cheng. The Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower occupies the west of the city, and its comprehensive financial strength ranks 3rd among the 5 major forces in King Cheng. Logically, even if someone is thinking about it, they should not attack the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower. The main reason is that except for the Vajra Temple, the strength of the other 4 families is similar. As one of the 5 major forces in King Cheng, the backyard of the Su residence is very large, with all the pavilions and terraces. After a while, Su Chen came to the courtyard of the 2-story building where Shangwen Xian lived. Looking at the gate in front of him, Su Chen stepped into the courtyard. A woman in a blue dress was standing beside the courtyard. The woman had a slender figure. The blue dress basically covered her lower body. When she saw Su Chen coming in, she stepped forward and bowed. "Hello, young master. Xiao Lan, I have something to see the second mother. Please inform her," Su Chen said. Xiao Lan is the personal maid of his second mother Shangwen Xian. When he saw Shangwen Xian, he still had to inform her. "Madam has been too sad recently and just fell asleep. It's better not to disturb her." Xiaolan, who was standing by, did not move to report, but spoke. Hearing Xiaolan's words, Su Chen's face slightly condensed. "Okay, then let second madam rest more. I won't disturb you for now." Su Chen glanced at the wing room not far away, turned around and walked out of the small courtyard. Xiaolan's maid looked at Su Chen's back as he left, and frowned slightly. She always felt that Su Chen was a little different when she saw him today, but she didn't find anything, turned and entered the pavilion. On the 2nd floor of the pavilion, Shangwen Xian was sitting in front of the dressing table. She was fiddling with her long black hair, and when she saw Xiaolan in a blue dress come in, she paused. "Madam, young master Su is gone," Xiaolan said softly. "Something is different. Send someone to keep an eye on him. I want to know his every move. And we also need to know what Ling Xian and the others are doing. I'm going to open Su Mengbei's coffin tonight. I want to see how he died and who did it." When Shangwen Xian said this, a cold light flashed in his eyes. If Su Chen was here, he would definitely be shocked to hear Shangwen Xian's words. He would never have thought that Shangwen Xian would actually open the coffin. Su Mengbei was just buried for 1 day. Such a woman is a bit cruel. "Miss, I don't know who killed Su Mengbei. He is the person we chose. In order to contact Su Mengbei, we planned for a year, but now this happened. It's all in vain." Xiaolan seemed very angry when she said this, and she also exuded a murderous intent. "This matter is not as simple as you think. Investigate it first. Go down and arrange it." Shangwen Xian waved his hand. "Yes." Xiaolan bowed and left the wing room. Shangwen Xian and the house slowly came to the side of the pavilion, and through the half-open window, looked at Su Chen who was leaving. "I didn't expect that Su Mengbei, who I chose, would die like this. I'm really disappointed. If you can survive this storm, I will contact you." Shangwen Xian looked at Su Chen's back with a gleam in his eyes. At this time, in King Cheng, the news that Su Chen took over the position of the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower seemed to be deliberately spread, and quickly spread throughout King Cheng. As the person involved, Su Chen was sitting in a room. His expression seemed a little gloomy. Although he inherited the memory of the original owner, he knew little information. Without seeing the second mother Shangwen Xian, Su Chen could only return and find a way himself. But after returning, after thinking about it carefully, he found that things were more troublesome than he thought. The main reason was that he had no one available now. Bei Xianyu was temporarily protecting himself, and it was not suitable for him to go out to explore. You can't wait passively like this, Ling Xian. Maybe you can take action from Ling Xian. Su Chen's eyes flashed. Ling Xian was anxious to push himself above the master of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. He must know something. Otherwise, he would not be so anxious. Forget about it. I'll fuse the ice killer arm first to increase my strength. Su Chen thought of this and stood up and went to a secret room in the Su mansion. That was where Su Mengbei practiced before his death. The secret room was under a rockery and it was a little empty inside with only a cushion. Su Chen turned on the switch and closed the stone door of the secret room. Sitting upright on the cushion, he extracted the killing arm he got. This killing arm was not the fire killing arm that Su Chen was familiar with before, but an ice killing arm. He directly extracted it onto his left arm. The right arm was the arm where the power was concentrated. He often used his arm to attack the enemy. Once he fused the killing arm, he would accidentally use the power of the killing arm. At that time, he might expose this power. Now he didn't want to expose his strength so early. So Su Chen extracted the killing arm onto his left arm. Suddenly, a cold breath appeared on Su Chen's arm. With this cold breath, the clothes on Su Chen's left arm were instantly torn. A shadow of an ice unicorn appeared on his arm. When this ice unicorn appeared, a cold air instantly filled the secret room. In just a few seconds, a layer of frost appeared in the secret room. Frost also appeared on Su Chen's eyebrows, and his whole body trembled. But then Su Chen felt a pure cold air flowing from his arm into his body. It began to wash his meridians, making him feel that his whole body became relaxed. The martial arts practice Su Chen now knows is the key induction realm, the acquired realm, the innate realm, the refining spirit realm, and the refining soul realm. Each realm has the initial stage, the middle stage, the late stage and the peak. As for the realm above the refining soul realm, Su Chen has not yet touched it and is not clear. He knows the refining soul realm. That's because the head of the Shan sect where Su Chen is a master of the refining soul realm. As for how powerful the refining soul realm is, he doesn't know. After all, his current strength is only in the middle stage of the acquired realm. Under the influence of this pure ice-attributed cold air, Su Chen felt an ice-attributed internal energy appearing in his body. At this time, Su Chen's face showed surprise. Internal energy is a sign of the innate realm. As long as the internal energy is born in the body, it is a sign of entering the innate realm. He was only in the middle stage of the acquired realm before, but he didn't expect that the cold air transmitted by the ice unicorn arm would allow him to enter the innate realm in one fell swoop. Chapter 3, This Life, Reward for Vajrahunio Engine. Sensing the change of the power in his body, Su Chen showed a happy expression on his face. In the early stage of Xianshan, such strength is not bad, which allows this body to have some self-protection ability. Contain your breath. For the time being, those old things cannot detect anything. Since you want to play, then I will play with you to see who killed Su Mengbei, Su Chen said coldly. Then he stepped out of the secret room and returned to his room. He began to ponder. Now he has strength, but there is no clue at all, so he can only wait for the other party to make a move. I will first dig out all the memories of this body and sort out the memories. Now all I have to do is relax and see how you make a move. I heard that King Cheng brothel is not bad. Maybe I can go and listen. Such things were illegal in the previous life, but it is legal in this world. Of course, Su Chen also wants to see what the beauties in this world are like. Although Su Mengbei just died, he has never seen Su Mengbei, so there is no need to mourn. After tidying up, Su Chen left the mansion and headed towards the famous brothel in King Cheng. Listen to a little song there first, and then do something else. This will also make others relax their vigilance. They think he is just a scoundrel and a playboy. Of course, even if they don't think so, they will probably observe him and give him time. Thinking of this, Su Chen's blood began to flourish. The young man was still very passionate. After a while, Su Chen came to the most famous brothel in Qingcheng, Yachen Garden. From outside the gate, Su Chen could smell a fragrance, which made people a little impulsive. Along with the fragrance, there were also waves of lascivious sounds. Su Chen stepped in. At the door, it was not the old man who greeted Su Chen as Su Chen had thought before. Instead, it was a young girl of 17 or 18 years old. She walked up to Su Chen and said, "Young master, are you alone?" Su Chen hadn't been back to Qingcheng for a long time, and he hadn't been to Yachen Garden for a long time, so the welcoming girl didn't know him. "Give me a good private room, and tell Aunt Gui that I want to book your new top star Kinlan tonight," Su Chen said. Who is so arrogant? He is planning to book Miss Kinlan tonight. At this time, someone heard Su Chen's voice, and looked over here. The voice came from a young man in brocade clothes, about the same age as Su Chen. Rang Yun from Rang Mansion in Qingcheng. Rang Yun was stunned when he saw Su Chen. "I didn't expect it to be you, Su Chen. Your father just died, and you just inherited Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, and you come here. Don't you know you won't live long?" The news that Su Chen was in charge of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower has now spread in Qingcheng. This person is about the same age as Su Chen, and they already know each other. "Rang Yun, can you control my business? Coming here to play depends on spending power. Is the little money your father gave you enough to spend?" Su Chen snorted coldly. "Take me to the private room." He didn't pay much attention to Rang Yun. His qualifications are much worse than his, and his strength is weaker than his, so why should he be cautious? Seeing this, the girl didn't dare to neglect it, and took Su Chen into the private room. Seeing Su Chen enter the private room, Rang Yun's eyes flashed with a sinister light. "You are just a scapegoat. You think you are the real owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. I will go to see your body after a while." The situation of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower had spread all over Qingcheng a long time ago. They also knew the reason why Su Chen could become the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. The elders of each family had told him not to have too much contact with Su Chen during this period. Su Chen was taken to the private room upstairs. Good wine and delicious food were served in an instant. And a gorgeously dressed old procuress also came to Su Chen's room. "Master Su, you are honored to visit my Yachen Garden. I was a little neglectful before." The procuress was about 30 years old and still had charm. She spoke very politely, opening a door to do business and seeking wealth. Su Chen had Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower as a foundation, which was a god of wealth, and she had to worship him. "Auntie Gui, you are too polite. I heard that Miss Kinlan here is the new top prostitute. Let her serve me tonight." "How much, Auntie Gui? Tell me the number." Su Chen looked rich and powerful, but he is indeed very rich now. Jinfeng Xiaoyu is a big force in Qingcheng after all. Since the Sulaos who said so, I'll make an offer. Miss Kinlan is the new top girl after all, and she's just about to bloom 2,000 teals. Aunt Gui said, "Here's a 2,000 teal silver note. Let's arrange it." Su Chen directly took out two 1,000 teal silver notes. He just came here, so he didn't know much about the money consumption level here, and he didn't care. What's more, he brought more than 10,000 teals of silver notes. The Sulaos who is generous. "I'll arrange for Miss Kin to come here." In a place in Yulan Garden, a woman in a red phoenix embroidered long dress sat upright, with a pair of bright eyes, rosy lips, skin that was as soft as a baby's, a perky chest and hips, and a gorgeous face. She looked about 21 or 22 years old, but she not only exuded the fragrance of a girl, but also an attractive charm close to maturity. It was Kinlan, the top girl in Yachen Garden now. "Miss, there's a rumor outside that someone wants to book you tonight." A little maid in green clothes beside her said, "I'll be married tonight." Kinlan's face showed a trace of sadness when she spoke, but she was not too excited. This was the fate of their group. Auntie Gui personally entertained her. "It should be. I heard that it was the new owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. Miss, if you grasp it well, you may be able to get out of here." The little maid said, "The new owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. It's the news that just came out today." Hearing the little maid's words, Kinlan's eyes lit up. "I heard it's true," the little maid said. At this time, a servant came in from outside. "Miss Lan, please pack up and go to the Magnolia room." The servant said. After Auntie Gui left, Su Chen ate something and listened to a little song. Creak. At this time, the door was opened. A beautiful woman walked in. My little girl Kinlan, serve the owner Su today. Kinlan bowed and saluted after coming in. After drinking some wine, blood and energy surged into his body. Su Chen didn't think about anything. He just closed the door, hugged Kinlan, and went to bed. Kinlan didn't refuse. They were trained very early. Suddenly, the room was full of beauty. The host rewards Vajra mixed Yuanjin, 3 years of innate internal force, and 2 bottles of Vajra Buteo pills. They have been stored in the item space. Please check. Vajra mixed Yuanjin, 3 years of innate internal force, Vajra Buteo pills. Su Chen can still accept the first 2, but what is the Vajra Buteo pill at the end? Chapter 4. Someone can't sit still. Su Chen wants to take action. At this time, in the backyard of Yachen Garden, the former Madame Gui walked into a quiet wing room and stood respectfully. Come in. Is there something going on in front? The door of the wing room opened gently, and a light and pleasant female voice appeared. Report to the madam, the new owner of Jinfeng Xiao Tower, Su Chen, has come to our side, and has also selected the new top-ranking Kinlan. This old servant can't refuse. I'm afraid it will affect madam's plan, so I came to report. While Gui spoke, she walked into the wing room. The wing room seemed very quiet. The sandalwood was curling, and she stood with her head bowed. After entering the room, Su Chen, the Su Chen who was held up by Ling Xian and others as a scapegoat, didn't expect to come to my Yachen Garden at this time. Did he find that his life was in danger, or did he know that he couldn't stay as the owner of Jinfeng Xiao Tower for long? So he came here to relax and show the outside world that he is a playboy and people should relax on him and spare his life. The voice continued to come. The voice came from behind a bead curtain. Behind the bead curtain was a gorgeous screen as thin as a cicada's wing. On the screen, a woman with a perfect figure was reflected. The woman had her back to the screen, and no one knew what she was doing. This old slave didn't see it. Aunt Gui replied. Keep observing. Maybe this is our chance. The industry of Jinfeng Xiao Tower is still good, not to mention that they have a relationship with the Red Sandalwood Palace outside the Great Wall. Maybe we can use this to get in touch with the Red Sandalwood Palace outside the Great Wall. The woman called Madam said. Old slave understands. Aunt Gui accepted the order. Also, you can push out a new person from the reserve candidates and find a chance to send him to that old thing Chen Yang, lest that old thing cause trouble for us. The madam then said. Chen Yang is now the lord of King Cheng and the lord of a city in the great Zhao dynasty. Yes. The old slave will go down first. Aunt Gui bowed and left the room. After Aunt Gui left, the woman behind the screen slowly stood up and walked out of the screen. The woman was about 30 years old, with a charming figure. She exuded a unique aura of mature woman. In addition to her aura, she also had a face that could make people have countless fantasies at a glance. I don't know who killed Su Mengbei. Su Mengbei had some relationship with the one in the Red Sand Palace. The Golden Wind and Rain Tower was able to become one of the 5 major forces in King Cheng because of the secret support of that person. The person who killed him, was it targeting him, or the Red Sand Palace? But this is also our opportunity. The woman murmured. What happened in the backyard? Su Chen didn't know. In the pink curtain, Su Chen opened his eyes and looked at the jade woman lying beside the bed, his face full of smiles. He looked at the sky outside. It was already night, and the full moon was hanging in the sky. Sir, it's already night now, we can continue. Kinlan beside him said. Although this was Kinlan's first time, Yachen Yuan was a place where many things had been trained, and her skills were very good. Okay, it's okay to go back anyway, let's continue. Su Chen hugged Kinlan beside him, and said with a smile. Now he didn't want to go back. What was he going to do? He was waiting to see if anyone would make a move, or reveal their true colors. For several days, Su Chen didn't leave Yachen Garden, as if he had taken root here. Yachen Garden seemed to have formed a tacit understanding with Su Chen. Let Kinlan only receive Su Chen. Ling Mansion. Ling Xian's mansion. At this moment, there were 3 people in his mansion. 2 old men and a middle-aged man. They were all the leaders of the people in Jinfeng Xiao Tower. Deputy building owner, Su Chen is really outrageous. He has been in Yuchen Garden for the past few days and has never come out. He has simply lost the face of our Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, an old man said angrily. Deputy building owner, it's been so many days and those people haven't made a move. Can we find a chance to kill Su Chen? The middle-aged man said in a deep voice. Ling Xian shook his head and said, why are you in such a hurry? It's only been a few days. But Su Chen is quite clever and hid in Yuchen Garden. This is to inform others that he is just a person who doesn't care about the affairs of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. I underestimated Su Chen. Ling Xian's eyes were cold when he spoke. The previous plan was to make Su Chen the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. Let's see how those people in the dark react. Unexpectedly, Su Chen hid in Yuchen Garden. Sitting on a chair, he tapped the table next to him with his right hand. After a moment of silence, he said, Mr. Jiang, go to Yuchen Garden and tell the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower that there are some things that need to be dealt with by the owner. If he is attached to Qinlan in Yuchen Garden, just redeem him and bring him back. Don't give him any chance to shirk. If he deals with the affairs of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower and the other party doesn't take action, then it's time for us to destroy him. Ling Xian's eyes flashed with murderous intent. Yes, said the old man who spoke earlier. Deputy building owner, do we need to deal with some people in the building? After all, there are still some people who are loyal to Su Mengbei. I'm afraid they will help Su Chen when the time comes. We don't need to do this. After these few days, I will contact Gila building and let them come forward. Those people will not survive for more than one night. Ling Xian said. Gila building is the largest assassin organization in Lingnan County. It is said that it has killed warriors in the late stage of soul refining. Hearing Ling Xian's words, the eyes of the three people in the room lit up. The reputation of Gila building is the most famous in Lingnan County. It is easy to deal with those people. Gila building is not only the largest assassin organization in Lingnan County, it is also the second-ranked assassin organization in the 9 northern provinces, second only to Gui Sha Mansion. You don't have to think about this matter. Please invite our building owner Su Chen back first. Ling Xian said. Yes. The three people saluted Ling Xian and left quickly. After the three people left, Ling Xian said in a deep voice, Su Chen, don't blame me as your uncle. The main reason is that I don't know who your father offended, so I can only test your life. On the other side, Su Mansion. In the small building in the backyard. Miss, since Su Chen inherited the position of the building owner, he has been in Yuchen Garden and has not come out. It's simply a disgrace to Jinfeng Xiaoyu building. Xiaolan, who was next to Shangwen Xian, said angrily. However, Shangwen Xian, who was sitting there, did not change his expression and looked normal. You underestimate Su Chen. If he didn't stay there, I'm afraid something would have happened. But Su Chen is just a small trick. Someone doesn't want you to stay there all the time. I want to see if you have the ability to break this situation. Shangwen Xian said softly. At this time in Yuchen Garden, in the wing room, Su Chen sat on a bench, thinking about things. For several days in a row, now someone outside wants to move, and he, Su Chen, is also going to move. Within these few days, although he was in Yuchen Garden, he had sorted out some relationships in his mind. Some people who were close to Ling Xian. He wanted to kill some people to see what Ling Xian would do. As for why he did it himself, he had to experience a blood baptism when he came to this era of Jianghu. In addition, he was protected by a master and was safe. Chapter 5 Black Market Rumors, 5th rank Lotus Platform. Su Chen was ready to attack. On the one hand, he wanted to see Ling Xian's reaction. On the other hand, he also wanted to test the person who killed Su Mengbei in the dark. To be honest, Su Chen didn't take Ling Xian seriously at all. He cared about the person who killed Su Mengbei in the dark. He had no idea about the person in the dark, and he couldn't find a target, even if he wanted to deal with him. So he could only lure the other party out first. If that person had any ideas about Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower or him, then he should take action. As long as there is action, it will reveal a trace of his feet. He will find an opportunity. While Su Chen was thinking about these things, creak. The door was opened. Qinlan, dressed in a white palace dress, walked in from outside the door with a smile on her face. She walked up to Su Chen and said, "Thank you, Master Su, for helping me redeem myself. I have taken back my indenture from the flower shop." While Kinlan was speaking, she took out the indenture and placed it on the table in front of Su Chen. Looking at the indenture in front of him, Su Chen's heart moved slightly. He didn't pay to redeem Kinlan. He was in such a big crisis now that he had no intention to redeem her. But his expression did not change. Since the other party thought that he was the one who redeemed her, he would just accept it. Of course, he also wanted to see who helped Kinlan redeem herself. But helping Kinlan redeem herself at this time should be to let him leave Yachen Garden. It seems that someone can't sit still. Su Chen thought in his heart. Manager Jiang asked us when we will leave Yachen Garden. At this time, Kinlan continued to talk and walked behind Su Chen and consciously pinched Su Chen's shoulders. Manager Jiang Chendang, it seems that Ling Xian can't sit still, helping Kinlan redeem herself. It seems that he wants me to leave Yachen Garden. When Su Chen heard Kinlan mention Manager Jiang, he knew who it was. Jiang Chendang was one of Ling Xian's confidants. He understood Ling Xian's intention. Let him leave Yachen Garden, then some people waiting may attack him. If the other party does not attack, then Ling Xian will attack himself. Thinking of this, Su Chen showed a hint of smile at the corner of his mouth. It's just right. I'm going to do something to you too. Let's see who makes who more nervous. Su Chen thought to himself. Then he said to Kinlan, since you've already got the contract to sell your body, I'll have someone help you buy a mansion, and you can move in when the time comes. He has a lot of secrets. It's not a good choice for Kinlan to be by his side. What's more, Yachen Garden, as the #1 flower shop in Qingcheng, won't be that simple. So he didn't plan to take Kinlan to live in the Su residence now. At this time in the backyard of Yachen Garden, Aunt Gui, the madam, came to the room of the woman again. Madam, Ling Xian and the others have redeemed Kinlan, and it seems that they don't want Su Chen to stay here. Aunt Gui, the madam, said. How have you observed Su Chen these days? The madam asked. I didn't feel anything. He has been in Kinlan's room all the time, and has never left the room. He drinks and listens to music every day. He spends the rest of the time with Kinlan. He doesn't seem to care about the outside world at all. I don't see anything special about him. Aunt Gui, the madam, said. She has been staring at Su Chen these days, wanting to see if Su Chen has any special features. But after observing, she didn't get anything. Aunt Gui, it seems that you have made a mistake. This Su Chen is not simple, the lady said in a light voice. Did the lady see something? Aunt Gui asked. Su Chen should know his situation, but he didn't panic at all these days. He can still be so calm when facing danger, which means that Su Chen should have some trump card. I'm very curious, what trump card does he have? Let Kinlan keep an eye on Su Chen. I'm very interested in him. By the way, after Su Mengbei's death, what movements did other forces make? The lady said. Everyone is waiting for someone to make the first move. After all, no one knows who killed Su Mengbei. If they can kill Su Mengbei, they can kill them. I have found out a piece of news. It says that Su Mengbei's death is related to a 5th grade Lotus platform. Aunt Gui said. 5th grade Lotus platform? How could Su Mengbei be related to this thing? Where did this news come from? The lady's expression condensed and she asked. The 5th grade Lotus platform is a rare treasure. Only the advanced Buddhas in the Buddhist and Taoist sects in the western regions can cultivate it. It can help the strong in the spirit refining realm to enter the soul refining realm. Of course, it is rumored that there is also a 9th grade Lotus platform, which is a treasure that can make people live and die. But that is just a rumor, and no one has ever seen the 9th grade Lotus platform. This news came from the black market, and it was just this morning. Aunt Gui said. Did it come from the black market? That seems very likely. You should pay attention to the information from the Red Sand Palace. If it is a 5th grade Lotus platform, it should have something to do with the Red Sand Palace. They should send someone here. The lady said. Yes, I will investigate immediately. Aunt Gui bowed. Then she left the room. After Aunt Gui left, the woman who had been sitting all the time slowly stood up and walked to the window. Outside the window, the sky became dark at this moment, as if it was going to rain. "Come here," the woman said. Then a black figure walked out from the dark side of the wing room. The person who came out had a bumpy figure, and it could be seen that it was a woman. She was wearing a mask on her face, so her face could not be seen clearly. You go to the black market and check the source of this news. Make sure to find out who spread it. The 5th grade Lotus platform. If I get it, my strength will definitely be able to go further, and I can also leave here and return to the headquarters. The lady said. Yes. The woman in black bowed, and then her figure disappeared into the dark side of the wing room. Outside Yachen Garden, Su Chen looked up at the gradually darkening sky. It looks like it's going to rain tonight, Su Chen said as he headed towards the Su mansion. After he left, a figure walked out of Yachen Garden. Looking at Su Chen's back, his face darkened slightly. He didn't take Qinlan with him, but went back alone. What does he want to do? This person was Jiang Qindang, who was arranged by Ling Xian to help Qinlan redeem herself. Go back and tell Deputy Building Master Ling first, he said and headed in another direction. After a while, Su Chen arrived at the Su mansion. Seeing Su Chen, the attendant at the door immediately stepped forward and saluted. Master, you're back. Su Chen nodded and went straight to his own courtyard. Don't let anyone disturb me unless there is a special situation, Su Chen said to the housekeeper who came. The housekeeper's name was Fubo. He had been in their Su family for 40 years and was very loyal to the Su family. But that was Su Chen's previous understanding. Now Su Chen is a little wary. Master, I think you should stay in Yachen Garden and come back after a while. Uncle Fu looked at Su Chen and said. It doesn't matter, what's coming will come, Su Chen said calmly. Uncle Fu was stunned when he heard this, and then said, then master, I will arrange more people here. You can arrange it over there. Su Chen nodded. Without saying anything more, he walked into the side room of the small courtyard. He now needs to conserve his energy and go out to do something important at night. Chapter 6. Murder on a rainy night. Frontal attack. In the wing room, Su Chen sat cross-legged on the bed. His mind was focused on the Vajrahunio engine technique he had obtained earlier. When he was in Yachen Garden, Su Chen was a real playboy. He did not practice at all. But now that he was back in the Su mansion, he needed to practice. Vajrahunio engine is a technique for cultivating the body, with 13 levels. It is a technique that uses the internal energy in the body to temper oneself. The 1st to 3rd levels temper the skin of the body, make the skin become like steel. The 4th to 6th levels temper the flesh and blood, the 7th to 9th levels temper the bone marrow, and the 9th to 12th levels temper the internal organs. As for the 13th level, it is a mixed and unified whole. The first 3 levels of Vajrahunio engine temper the membrane, using the Vajrahunio and internal force generated in the body to continuously compress the membrane, making the membrane as hard as iron. This is easy to do, I can complete it today. But the next stage, tempering the flesh and blood, I'm afraid it will require a lot of ki and blood pills. Su Chen thought to himself. Then Su Chen didn't think about it anymore. It was useless to think about it now. It is the most basic to practice and improve strength. He circulated the Vajrahunio engine, transformed it into internal force, and began to temper the membrane. He practiced cross-legged for an unknown period of time. Boom. Suddenly, there was a thunder outside. Then, raindrops appeared in the sky. Su Chen also woke up from his practice, opened his eyes, slowly came to the window, and took a look at the night outside. It was dim, because of the rain. Su Chen didn't know how long he had practiced, but it's raining well. Rainy nights are suitable for killing. Today, I will kill someone, or I will be killed by others. Su Chen sighed in his heart. Creak. The gate outside the courtyard was opened. The housekeeper Fubo pushed open the gate and walked in. Knock knock. The door of the wing room was knocked. Su Chen stood by the window and knew that it was Fubo who entered the courtyard. He opened the door of the wing room. Master, I saw that the light on your side was still on, so I came over. This is the meal I asked the servants to prepare for you. Fubo put the rice basket in his hand on the table in the house, gently opened the basket, took out the ingredients, and placed them on the table. Also, today, Manager Han and Manager Lu came and asked me to tell the young master If there is anything on the young master's side, you can notify them immediately, and they will do their best to assist the young master. Young master, they are the people the old master trusted the most when he was alive, and the young master can trust them. Uncle Fu said as he took the food. Jinfeng Xiao Tower controls 1/3 of the shops in Qingcheng, and the 18 managers of Jinfeng Xiao Tower are in charge of these shops. Manager Han and Manager Lu are 2 of the 18 people. Hearing Uncle Fu's words, Su Chen nodded. Uncle Fu, thank the 2 uncles for me. If I need anything, I will ask them for help. Don't take out the food. I don't have much appetite today, Su Chen said. At this time, for the time being, he will not believe anyone, even Uncle Fu in front of him. He does not believe. Maybe Su Chen would believe it before, but now Su Chen is wary of anyone. Hearing Su Chen's words, Uncle Fu could only put the food back. What time is it now? Su Chen asked. Master, it's almost the hour of hay now. Is it the hour of hay? And is there any news coming out recently? Su Chen asked. In Yuchen Garden, Su Chen has been sorting out his memories. He didn't pay attention to the outside situation. Of course, even if he wanted to, he couldn't understand. In the evening, this old servant got a black market news that the master got a 5th grade lotus platform before his death. Uncle Fu said, 5th grade lotus platform, how could my father have such a treasure? The other party is coming for our Jinfeng Xiao Tower. Is he going to destroy our Jinfeng Xiao Tower? Su Chen's face changed when he heard it. He knew what a 5th grade lotus platform was. His father was quite famous in Qingcheng, but he definitely couldn't get a treasure like a 5th grade lotus platform. It seems that someone can't sit still, so he spread such news. Uncle Fu, you go back and rest first, Su Chen said in a deep voice. Then this old servant will go back and rest first. After Uncle Fu saluted Su Chen, he left the courtyard with an umbrella. Watching Uncle Fu leave, Su Chen narrowed his eyes. Are you reminding me, or something else? Now is not the time to think about these things. Let me stir up this pool of water first and see if there are any fish. He turned off the lights in the house and went to sleep with his clothes on. In his mind, he was thinking about who to attack today. According to Su Chen's previous memory, Ling Xian has 3 confidants. Jiang Chendang is one. There are 2 others, one named Song Yuan and the other named Lu Kang. Jiang Chendang cannot be killed for the time being. After all, he just helped him redeem Qinlan from Yuchen Garden. Then there are only Song Yuan and Lu Kang. Among them, Song Yuan is not far from Su Chen's mansion. Don't blame me, blame you for being closest to me, Su Chen murmured. Another place. In the backyard of the Su mansion. In the attic of the second wife Shangwen Xian, some lights are still on. Miss, there is news from the black market that Su Mengbei previously obtained a 5th grade lotus platform. Xiaolan, who was next to Shangwen Xian, spoke. 5th grade lotus platform. Shangwen Xian's face darkened when he heard this. Mobilize people to find out who sent out such news, and what is Su Chen's reaction when he comes back. Shangwen Xian said coldly. After he came back, he stayed in the wing room of the courtyard and didn't come out. He is really cowardly, Xiaolan said. Didn't come out? Su Chen, are you waiting for a chance? But you don't have the strength, so it's useless to wait. But I really want to see how you get through this level. If you can get through this level, I will give you a chance to join the Holy Church, Shangwen Xian said in a deep voice. Time passed by little. Lying on the bed, Su Chen continued to use the Vajra Hunyo engine. He needed to practice to the 3rd level in the shortest time. It was soon midnight. Su Chen, who had been waiting, didn't wait for anyone. However, Su Chen continued to wait for an hour, but there was still no movement, so he walked down from the bed. At this time, the drizzle outside was still falling. Su Chen gently pushed open the window door, and his figure flashed and jumped out of the courtyard. Soon, Su Chen arrived at the residence of Song Yuan, the manager of Jinfeng Xiao Tower. Outside the residence, Su Chen, who had changed into a black suit, was looking at the residence in front of him. He recalled the situation in Song Yuan's residence in his mind. Song Yuan was one of the 18 managers of Jinfeng Xiao Tower. Before Su Chen went to Shanmen, he had been here several times. The west wing is Song Yuan's bedroom. Let's go to the west wing first. Su Chen jumped into Song Yuan's house. The mansion seemed very quiet, and only the sound of drizzle could be heard. Su Chen appeared in the west wing according to his memory. He landed outside the west wing. He listened attentively. A sound of deep breathing came from the wing. Here, very good. Su Chen's face showed murderous intent. Boom. He smashed the door of the wing with a punch, and rushed directly into the wing. In the wing, Song Yuan, who was sleeping, heard the sound. He got up from the bed. He grabbed a long knife next to the bed. "Who is it?" he shouted, and the long sword in his hand slashed out instantly. "The one who wants to kill you," Su Chen said in a low voice. His left arm clenched into a fist instantly, and a cold air burst out from his palm, and then he slapped it out. The palm collided with the long sword, and the long sword quickly formed a stream of ice. "It's so cold." Song Yuan just said it was so cold after he drew his sword. The cold air on the long sword quickly spread to his body. He only felt that his heartbeat stopped instantly. Plop. Then the whole person fell hard on the ground. Chapter 7. 20 years of sword skills, analysis, and horror. Is he so weak? Su Chen knew Song Yuan's strength. He was at the peak of the acquired realm, and had not yet entered the innate realm. Although he knew that the other party was not his opponent, he was still a little confused by how easily he was dealt with. Why didn't he assassinate the other party before? That was because Su Chen couldn't do the killer's method of killing with one sword. He would definitely be discovered, so it was better to fight the other party head on. So when they fought, Su Chen used all his strength. As soon as he attacked, he used the ice unicorn arm he had obtained. But after the fight, he found that the power of the ice unicorn arm was too strong when it was activated by his internal force. The other party just said it was so cold and died. The host's first kill in this life, rewarded with a one-time skill card, 20 years of sword art, and 3 white lottery cards. Yes. One-time skill card, 20 years of sword art. Su Chen thought there would be other rewards, but he didn't expect to get just this thing. A one-time skill card. No need to think, it can only be used once. But 3 white lottery cards are good, plus the previous 6. If I complete the revenge mission for this body, I will have 9 white lottery cards. Maybe I can draw 2 white lottery cards first. Su Chen thought to himself. At this time, all over the Song Mansion, because of the previous movement, the lights in the entire courtyard have gradually lit up. Some people quickly rushed over here. Su Chen sensed that someone was coming, and his figure flashed out of the house and left. Although he could easily deal with these people, it was not necessary. After all, someone might attack him tonight, so he should return as soon as possible. He went back very quickly. After a while, Su Chen returned to his room. He changed into a black suit and hid quickly. He lay directly on the bed. Is this the world of martial arts? The first time he killed someone, and he killed a warrior with one punch, Su Chen had a hot-blooded impulse in his heart. The world of martial arts, revenge, and satisfaction. That's it. The repression that was forced before was also released at this moment. Su Chen fell asleep. But not long after, Su Chen suddenly opened his eyes. A black figure appeared outside the house. The man stood outside the window and did not enter the courtyard. Su Chen, who was lying on the bed, condensed his eyes slightly and became alert. He didn't know what the other party was doing standing at the window. Time passed little by little. The man did not move, and Su Chen, who was lying on the bed, continued to pretend to be asleep. After a while, the figure actually left quietly. After the other party left, Su Chen opened his eyes. Who is that person? What does he want to do? Why is he standing there motionless? For a while, Su Chen was a little confused about the other party's thoughts. But now the other party is gone. Let Su Chen's previous tense mood relax. But at this time, he was no longer sleepy. Without sleepiness, Su Chen thought of the white lottery card. Prepare to draw 2 white lottery cards first. Click on the 2 lottery cards directly. Get 2 bottles of key and blood pills, and get 1 3 cubic space ring. 2 white lottery cards. Give Su Chen such a reward to bottles of pill bottles, and a ring appeared in his hand. Put the ring on your hand. Then he put the 2 bottles of pills in. Then he stood up and put all the night clothes and shoes he had used today into the ring. No matter where he hid them, they would not be as useful as those in the space ring. It's just that the space ring is a little small, but it has solved some of my troubles for the time being," Su Chen said secretly. Now he is not living alone, and there are too many people around him. Many things will be exposed. With this thing, it is much more convenient. At this time, the black shadow that had left Su Chen earlier appeared in the pavilion in the backyard. The black shadow that had just gone to Su Chen's courtyard was Shangwen Xian. After taking off his black clothes, Shangwen Xian frowned slightly. "Is your vigilance so poor? I stood outside the window for so long and didn't notice it. But if Su Mengbei's death is really related to the 5th grade Lotus platform, then as his only son, and he came back at this time, he might know the information of the 5th grade Lotus platform. In this case, he can't die yet. The 5th grade Lotus platform is very useful to me," Shangwen Xian said in a deep voice. Then he returned to his bed. Compared to the quietness of the Su mansion, many people gathered outside the Song mansion. Song Yuan was killed, and the news quickly reached Ling Xian. Ling Xian brought 2 other confidants and quickly came to Song Yuan's mansion. Seeing Song Yuan's situation, the middle-aged man next to Ling Xian quickly investigated the cause of Song Yuan's death. When his hand touched Song Yuan's body, a chill rushed from Song Yuan's body to his palm. He quickly moved his palm away, but a layer of frost appeared on the palm that had just touched Song Yuan's body. What a strong cold air. The middle-aged man's hand appeared an internal energy, which dispersed the cold air. The middle-aged man's name was Lu Wenkang, a warrior who had just entered the initial stage of Xianshan. He was the strongest of the 3 confidants around Ling Xian. Seeing this situation, Ling Xian and Jiang Chendang were both shocked. Deputy building owner, Manager Song died of a broken heart. Judging from his expression before his death and the situation in the house, the opponent attacked very quickly, and Manager Song had no power to fight back. And the cold air left in Manager Song's body by the opponent is extremely overbearing. Judging from this cold air, the opponent's strength is very terrifying. Lu Wenkang took a breath and said. Hearing Lu Wenkang's words, Jiang Chendang, who was standing aside, was surprised. He was even more uneasy in his heart. Song Yuan's strength was not much different from his. If the opponent attacked him, he would probably be the same as Song Yuan. But when Ling Xian heard Lu Wenkang's words, his face became gloomy. He came to Song Yuan and stretched out his palm. A purple internal force appeared on his palm and slowly imprinted on Song Yuan's body. He wanted to feel the cold air himself. After a moment, a cold air also came out of the purple internal energy in his palm. He took his palm back. His face was extremely horrified. From Song Yuan's death to their arrival, although it was not a long time, but the coldness left by the other party on Song Yuan still did not dissipate. It could also erode his internal energy. The other party's strength was too terrifying. He stood up and said in a deep voice, when the owner died, I checked. From the traces, the owner was pierced through the heart by a sword and died without giving the owner any chance to react. It was definitely done by a senior killer, but Song Yuan's side is a little strange. Is it to warn us, or to make us panic? Ling Xian felt a sense of terror at this time. Is there any clue about the news on the black market today? As the deputy owner of Jinfeng Xiao building, he naturally knew the news on the black market today. No clue, but I definitely think it's a little strange. What is the purpose of the person who spread it? If the owner really got the 5th grade Lotus platform before his death, then these people should have thought of taking it for themselves, instead of letting everyone know now. Lu Wenkang said. Could it be that it's not a group of people who are fighting for the 5th grade Lotus platform? The other party is killing people now. Is it to warn us to hand over the 5th grade Lotus platform? Jiang Chendang said on the side. It's really possible. If that's the case, we are in trouble. Ling Xian's face became gloomy and solemn. They didn't know the news about the 5th grade Lotus platform at all. Do you think Su Chen knows the news about the 5th grade Lotus platform? Otherwise, why would he come back at this time? Maybe it's because of this that he's so calm. Jiang Chendang said. He knew Su Chen's performance in Yuchen Garden, and he was not nervous at all. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8, Juxin Hall, Mist and Doubt. Hearing Jiang Chendong's words, Ling Xian and Lu Wenkang looked uglier. If that was true, the other party might be warning them. First arrange for Song Yuan's family. I'll go see Su Chen tomorrow to test his opinion, Ling Xian ordered. The next morning, there was still a drizzle in the sky, and the drizzle was like smoke and dust, covering Qingcheng. However, the news that Song Yuan, one of the 18 managers of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, was killed in the courtyard also spread quickly. In the city, there is a tower-shaped building. This tower building has 9 floors, and can be said to be the tallest building in Qingcheng. Being able to own this tallest building means that it must have an extraordinary status in Qingcheng. This is the Juxin Hall, which ranks second among the 5 major forces in Qingcheng. At this time, an old man in a yellow robe was above the tower, looking at the drizzle outside. Next to him stood a man in a green shirt. Zinian, it's rare to have such a drizzle in Qingcheng. It's really rare. The old man in the yellow robe took a deep breath when he spoke. It seemed to be absorbing the moisture brought by the drizzle. The old man in yellow robe was Zeman Muai, the head of Juxin Hall. The man beside him was Qin Zinian, one of the 5 masters of Juxin Hall. He was also the eldest disciple of the old man in yellow robe. It is rare. Our borderland is dry, and it is rare to see such weather. But master, although the drizzle is very good, Qingcheng is now in turmoil. I heard that Song Yuan, the manager of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, died at the hands of a master who practiced cold attribute skills. Originally, I thought that with the help of Su Mengbei's death, our Juxin Hall could take down Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower and surpass Lei's Lei Hall in one fell swoop. Now it seems that we still can't move. Qin Zinian said hatefully. Don't be impatient when doing anything. Opportunities will come when they come. What do you think of the news about the 5th grade Lotus platform that came out on the black market? Zeman Muai said. Before, I felt that the news was a bit false, but today it was reported that Song Yuan was killed, and I feel that Su Mengbei's death may really be related to the 5th grade Lotus platform. Qin Zinian said. Then help me analyze it. Who in the Golden Wind and Rain Tower knows about this 5th grade Lotus platform? While speaking, Zeman Muai turned and entered the house. At this time, in the house, a beautiful woman with a well-proportioned figure was quietly brewing tea. The aroma of tea filled the house. Seeing Zeman Muai enter the house, the woman brought a cup of freshly brewed tea to Zeman Muai. Zinian, this is some good tea I just got from Jiangnan, Golden Wind and Jade Dew tea. This thing is not available in Qingcheng. Give Zinian a cup too. Zeman Muai said. Master, I'm not interested in tea, but if there is wine, I like it. Master just ask me who might know the whereabouts of the 5th grade Lotus platform now. I think Su Chen might know. Qin Zinian said. Tell me, why did he know? And not Su Mengbei's wife? Zeman Muai sat on the sandalwood chair and looked at Qin Zinian. First, Su Chen returned to Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower after Su Mengbei's death. The time was a bit coincidental. If he had received the news normally, he should not have arrived in Qingcheng yet. So Su Chen should have returned early. It might be Su Mengbei who asked him to come back. Su Chen is not very talented. He is just an ordinary disciple in Shanmen. The 5th grade Lotus platform might have been prepared for Su Chen by Su Mengbei. Second, I have been paying attention to Su Chen these days. From his performance, he doesn't have any worries or uneasiness at all. This is extremely unreasonable. If he has the strength, it is completely impossible. If he is so calm without the strength, it means that there is something in him that makes him think that no one will touch him. Qin Zinian said seriously. Your analysis makes sense, but you missed a point. Since Su Chen has no strength, then even if he has a trump card, it's useless, because this world respects strength. It's easy for the other party to kill Su Mengbei and take down Su Chen, isn't it? Zeman Muai said softly. Hearing Zeman Muai's words, Qin Zinian frowned immediately. He ignored this most important piece of information. Su Chen was like an ant in his eyes, and so was he in the eyes of others. Ants can be easily crushed to death. But he didn't do anything to the ants. This is totally unreasonable. Master, you mean someone is setting up a trap? Qin Zinian said with a flash of light in his mind. It should be. You are just investigating here. Don't get involved for the time being, so as not to burn our Juxin Hall. Zemin Muai ordered. Disciple understands. Qin Zingyuan replied. Go down, keep an eye on the Golden Wind and Rain Tower, and don't miss any details. As long as we find an opportunity, we will still take down the Golden Wind and Rain Tower. Zemin Muai said. Then master, I will leave first. After saying this, Qin Zingyuan bowed and left the room. Who is planning this? But the news about the 5th grade Lotus platform should be true. If it is not true, it should not attract the masters to come. But why did he kill Song Yuan? Is it to warn others, or to intimidate others? Zemin Muai took a sip of tea, and said in a deep voice. Here, Su Chen got up early in the morning, and the butler Fubo was already waiting outside Su Chen. Seeing Su Chen coming out of the wing room, Fubo stepped forward and said, Master, Steward Song Yuan was killed. Deputy Tower Master Ling and others are waiting for you in the hall. What? Steward Song was killed? Su Chen pretended to be surprised and asked. Yes, we checked the body of Manager Song last night. He was killed by a master who practiced cold attributed skills. The other party was overbearing and froze Manager Song's heart directly. Uncle Fu told Su Chen the news he got. Frozen Manager Song's heart directly. Such strength? Su Chen was shocked and asked with a changed face. Yes, the person who came is very strong. I guess Deputy Building Master Ling is not his opponent. Master, let's go to see Deputy Building Master Ling first. He knows more information. Uncle Fu said. After a while, Su Chen came to the outside of the hall. In the hall, not only Ling Xian was standing, but also the other 17 managers. After hearing the news that Song Yuan was killed, they all followed Ling Xian to the Su mansion. They were talking at this time, and there was worry in their words. When Su Chen stepped into the hall, those who were talking stopped and bowed slightly to Su Chen. Meeting you, Op. No need to be polite. I have received news about Song Yuan. This is an unusual matter. Deputy Opling, Manager Song has been following you. You are in charge of investigating this matter. I hope you can find some clues within 3 days. Su Chen took the initiative to defeat Ling Xian. Song Yuan was promoted by Ling Xian to be the manager. He could be said to be Ling Xian's man. Now that Song Yuan is dead, it is natural that Ling Xian should investigate. Ling Xian could not refuse at all. Hearing Su Chen's words, Ling Xian was a little confused. Before he could speak, Su Chen ordered him to investigate this matter and gave him 3 days. Don't worry, Opus. I will find out the result as soon as possible. Ling Xian could only continue. His heart sank. Su Chen's performance today made him a little wary. He also had a suspicion. Chapter 9, Preliminary Showdown. Su Chen's performance today is completely different from that of the past few days. At that time, Su Chen had a stunned expression and more of a panic. But now, he seemed to have a more powerful aura. Su Chen killed someone last night. Before the murder, Su Chen felt a little aggrieved. He was more of a panic about this world. But after the murder, Su Chen's thoughts were clear, and he was confident. He unconsciously generated a momentum. Ling Xian's heart sank, but he didn't show it. Do you have anything else to say? Su Chen sat on a bench in the hall and looked at the few people. He looked like the master of the first floor. Hearing Su Chen's words, the 17 managers below looked at each other. They were all people who had been in the martial arts world for many years. They had already felt that Su Chen was unusual. So they didn't plan to say anything else? Nothing else? Then you go back and manage your own affairs. Although there is turmoil in my Golden Wind and Rainy Rain Tower now, the business in your hands cannot be turbulent. Manager Yan, Manager Song has something wrong. You temporarily manage the affairs he previously managed. When Su Chen spoke, his eyes looked at the man in the last position, who was wearing a green robe and looked a little thin. The man, Yang Mushing, was the one who managed the least business among the 18 managers of the Golden Wind and Rainy Rain Tower. Hearing Su Chen's words, Manager Yan immediately bowed and thanked. Thank you, building owner. You will go down. I will discuss other things with Deputy Building Owner Ling. Su Chen waved his hand. He didn't give Ling Xian a chance to speak the whole time. At this time, Ling Xian looked stunned. Just now, when Su Chen asked Yan Mushing to manage the affairs that he had sent to the manager before, he had an objection. But before he could say anything, Su Chen waved his hand and asked people to leave. He winked at Jiang Chendang. Master, Manager Yan is far from the area under the jurisdiction of Manager Song. My area is close to Manager Song. I will take charge of Manager Song's affairs temporarily. Jiang Chendang said. Uncle Jiang, I haven't thanked you yet. You helped me redeem Kinlan. It's just right. You can help me choose a house in the next few days. You can arrange for Kinlan to live in it. Su Chen arranged it directly. After speaking, he stood up. Uncle Ling, let's talk later. After speaking, he turned and stepped into the back of the hall. Ling Xian's eyes were gloomy, but he also followed Su Chen into the back. The others looked at each other. Finally, they all left the hall. Things became a little unpredictable for them, so they should protect themselves first. They didn't want to be killed like Song Yuan. Ling Xian followed Su Chen to the back hall. But Su Chen did not stop, but went to the direction of the secret room, where he had been in seclusion before. On the way to the hall, Su Chen changed his mind. He had the strength now, so why should he accommodate Ling Xian? Just take Ling Xian down. If the other party disagrees, just beat him to death. What a simple thing. Of course, if he can avoid it, he still wants Ling Xian to do it. After all, Ling Xian has been the deputy owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower for so many years. He is more familiar with King Cheng than he is. He can also help him quickly take charge of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. If Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower is under his control, his intelligence capabilities will definitely increase. At that time, he should be able to find out some information about Su Mengbei's murder. Ling Xian, who was following behind Su Chen, did not stop when he saw Su Chen passing through the back hall, and his brows slightly frowned. I want to see what tricks you play. Ling Xian snorted in his heart and continued to follow Su Chen. After a while, Su Chen brought Ling Xian to the secret room, where he had practiced in seclusion before. This is the secret room, where the owner of the building practices. Why did he bring me here? Looking at the secret room in front of him, Ling Xian had a hint of doubt in his heart. The door of the secret room was opened. Uncle Ling, come in for a moment. I have something important to talk to you about. Su Chen said to Ling Xian. Hearing Su Chen's words, Ling Xian's heart moved. He thought Su Chen might talk to him about the news of the 5th grade Lotus platform. The two walked into the secret room. Then the door of the secret room was closed. Not far away, the housekeeper Fubo saw this scene and frowned slightly. He turned around and left quickly, heading towards Shangguan Xian's small building. After a while, he came to Shangguan Xian's downstairs. Miss Xiaolan, I want to see the lady. That Fubo said. Come in with me. Xiaolan led Fubo to the second floor. Shangguan Xian was standing by the window, looking outside. Madam, just now the young master took Ling Xian into the secret room. Also, Su Chen has changed a lot in the hall today. Fubo told what had just happened. Su Chen actually caught Ling Xian. Hearing this news, Shangguan Xian's face was full of surprise. Last night, she had investigated Su Chen, but he was too weak. She had been standing outside for so long, but had not discovered him. She was still thinking about how to protect Su Chen. But today, Su Chen surprised her by actually controlling Ling Xian. Can you tell me what they were talking about in the secret room? Shangguan Xian asked. Judging from Su Chen's performance, perhaps Su Chen really knew the whereabouts of the 5th grade Lotus platform. There is only one exit outside the secret room, and you can't get in. Uncle Fu replied. Is that so? You stay outside and watch them. Once they come out, observe the situation, and come to report to me. Shangguan Xian said in a deep voice. Yes. Uncle Fu immediately bowed and left the pavilion. Miss, it's incredible that Su Chen can control Ling Xian. Could it be that he got some support? But he has never left our sight and has no chance to contact anyone. The maid Xiaolan asked in confusion. Yuchen Garden, didn't he stay there for a long time? There are many opportunities to meet other people there. He went to Yuchen Garden on the first day he became the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. Now I think it's a bit abnormal. Maybe he really went to meet someone. Didn't Ling Xian redeem Kinlan, the top girl in Yuchen Garden? Go and meet this Kinlan and see if you can find out something from her, Shangguan Xian said. At this time, inside the secret room, I wonder if the owner asked me to come here to talk about something, Ling Xian said. Uncle Ling, There are no outsiders here, and it seems a bit strange to call you like that. I asked Uncle Ling to come here this time, mainly to ask about the news that my father knows the 5th grade Lotus platform on the black market. Have you heard my father say it here? Su Chen looked at Ling Xian and said. He dug into his memory for a day, but he didn't find any information about the 5th grade Lotus platform from his memory, so he wanted to ask Ling Xian. As the deputy owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, Ling Xian has been assisting his father. Logically, he should know something. Hearing Su Chen's words, Ling Xian was stunned. He wanted to learn about this matter from Su Chen. Unexpectedly, Su Chen asked him first. Was he testing him, or did he really not know? Chapter 10. Violent Suppression. Lei Tang Lei Ao. Ling Xian couldn't help but look into Su Chen's eyes. What did he want to see from Su Chen's eyes? He looked at Su Chen and found that Su Chen's eyes did not change at all, giving people a feeling of really not knowing. I haven't heard your father say it here, Ling Xian said in a deep voice. I haven't heard my father say it. Then Uncle Ling, do you know how my father died? Su Chen continued to ask. He died because someone pierced his heart with a sword. The sword was very fast. He was a master of swordsmanship, Ling Xian said. Hearing Ling Xian's words, Su Chen frowned slightly. He also knew these news. Uncle Ling, didn't you find any other clues here? I think you should have found something. Otherwise, you wouldn't have recommended me to be the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. Su Chen looked at Ling Xian and said. Now Su Chen is ready to make things clear. He believes that Ling Xian must know something. He needs to know a little bit of information here, because he doesn't want to be too passive. Hearing Su Chen's words, Ling Xian's expression was startled, and his pupils shrank suddenly. He really didn't expect Su Chen to ask such a question. From this sentence, it can be seen that he did underestimate Su Chen. Thinking of this, Ling Xian couldn't help but feel a murderous intention in his heart. Su Chen is not simple, which means that this may threaten his position as the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. With the murderous intention in his heart, a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Su Chen, I didn't expect you to be so smart, but you have to know that smart people don't live long. Ling Xian's tone seemed a little cold. Suddenly a chill rose in the secret room. Su Chen looked at Ling Xian and was stunned. He didn't expect that Ling Xian would have a murderous intention towards him with just one sentence. He even called him by his name. This is a rhythm of taking action. Looking at this, Su Chen was more certain in his heart that the other party knew something. Uncle Ling, you have a murderous intention towards me, but if you kill me, who will help you to be a shield and a scapegoat? Su Chen said calmly. Although his current strength has just entered the initial stage of Xianshan. But with the ice skill in arm, it is not difficult to suppress Ling Xian who has not yet reached the late stage of Xianshan. Do you think I dare not kill you? Then you are wrong. The other party did not attack you last night, but attacked Song Yuan. What does this mean? It means that the other party may be forcing you to see if you know something. If you disappear, I will become the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. The other party can't find you, and I'm the last person you met. Do you think they will attack me? They will find me. If they find me, I can cooperate with them. What's more, Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower has a cooperation with the Red Sandalwood Palace outside the Great Wall. I have already notified the Red Sandalwood Palace of the news of your father's death. The masters from the Red Sandalwood Palace should arrive in a few days. I believe that with my means, I can still delay it for a few days. Ling Xian said coldly. Su Chen's current performance was too unexpected for him, so he was ready to take action to get rid of Su Chen. It seems that you are going to attack me. It just so happens that I also want to take you down and understand something. Su Chen looked at the other party and said calmly. Looking at Su Chen's reaction and the meaning of his words, Ling Xian sensed something was wrong and quickly retreated. His eyes scanned the surroundings. He was afraid that Su Chen had an ambush here. Don't be nervous. There is no one else here. Only you and me. If I attack you, it will be me. When Su Chen spoke, the aura on his body began to change, and a stream of innate energy flowed out of him. Innate realm. You have entered the innate realm. I didn't expect you to hide so deeply. At this time, Ling Xian looked at Su Chen with a look of surprise and disbelief. But that innate energy cannot be imitated. It's just the early stage of the innate realm. You want to challenge me? I don't know where you get the confidence from. Although he said so, Ling Xian took the initiative. He stepped on the ground with his feet and suddenly attacked Su Chen. His palms turned purple, and a stream of energy appeared in his palms, and then it showed an eagle claw, and grabbed Su Chen's head directly. The speed was so fast, that it rubbed against the air, and made a harsh sound. He, Ling Xian, was at least a master in the middle stage of the innate realm. He suddenly attacked, and he believed that Su Chen would never be able to dodge this attack. But the next moment, Su Chen, who was opposite him, raised his hand and punched out with the same speed, and also with a strong energy. Boom. The palm and fist collided, making a sound of explosion. The two of them were stunned at the same time, and took a few steps back. Is this all the strength? I'm really disappointed. When Ling Xian was surprised, Su Chen retreated, and his figure suddenly rose again. The Vajrahunio engine he had just practiced instantly spread all over his body, and then he attacked Ling Xian very fiercely. When attacking, a shadow of mountains and rivers appeared on his fist. Shan Sect, Shan Fist. Su Chen was a disciple of Shan Sect after all, and he must have practiced the skills of Shan Sect. The fist blasted out with a majestic atmosphere, coupled with the domineering energy of Vajrahunio engine. The stunned Ling Xian felt palpitations. He quickly made a move to resist. All the strength of his body poured into his arms, and the energy in his fingers flowed, colliding with the air to form ripples, and instantly formed claws, and the fingertips faintly emitted purple light. Attacked Su Chen. Wanted to tear Su Chen's fist attack, but it didn't tear Su Chen's fist at all. Instead, his attack paused for a while. At this moment of stagnation, Su Chen shouted and kicked the ground with his foot. Boom. The ground in the secret room, at this moment, broke and flew up. For a moment, dust flew. The dust briefly blinded Ling Xian's eyes. And at this moment, Su Chen's body directly hit the opponent. Boom. The opponent's body was directly hit by Su Chen on the wall of the secret room. Ling Xian didn't expect it to be like this, and wanted to fight back. But at this moment, a huge palm suddenly rushed out, and grabbed Ling Xian's neck. Uncle Ling, your strength really disappoints me. I didn't even use my full strength. Su Chen pinched the opponent's neck with one hand, and lifted Ling Xian up. Tell me everything you know. Don't play tricks on me, or I'll crush your neck, if I'm not happy. Su Chen's voice was cold, and his eyes flashed with cold light. Ling Xian, who was stunned by the beating, slowly regained consciousness after hearing Su Chen's voice. He looked at Su Chen with horror in his eyes. He wanted to speak, but his neck was pinched, and he could only open his mouth. Su Chen slightly loosened the pressure, allowing him to make a little sound. I just found out that the man who killed your father is now in a manor outside the city. The owner of that manor is Lei Yao from the Thunder Hall. I haven't found out anything else. Ling Xian suppressed the panic in his heart and said hoarsely. Chapter 11, Training and Going Out. Lei Yao of the Lei Hall, the godson of Lei Mu, the head of the Lei family, and one of the 4 guardians of the Lei Hall. Su Chen recalled some information about Lei Yao in his mind. Lei Hall King Chen is well deserved, the #1 force, and behind it is the control of the Lei family of King Chen. The assassin who assassinated his cheap father Su Mengbei was in Lei Yao's manor. It can be said that this matter is related to Lei Yao. It seems that, if I have time, I will go to that manor to take a look. I should be able to find out something. But who would have sent the news about the 5th grade Lotus platform in the black market? Su Chen thought in his heart, and threw Ling Xian to a place. Plop. Ling Xian's body fell to the ground. Cough cough. He took a deep breath, and looked at Su Chen in horror. His mind kept echoing, why is he so strong? He was in the middle stage of the innate, but he had no power to fight back in the hands of the other party. This made him unbelievable and unwilling. But thinking of Su Chen's violent expression and cold killing intent, he couldn't help trembling all over, and a cold sweat ran down his back. He quickly suppressed his resentment. He tried to stand up, and then stood aside, and dared not speak. I thought you were not convinced and wanted to continue to attack me. But Uncle Ling, you have to cherish your life. If you attack again, you will have no value to me. There are still many people in this world. One more and one less will not be too much. Su Chen looked at Ling Xian and said, Master, I dare not. Ling Xian bowed and said, I dare not, I hope. Su Chen said calmly, if Ling Xian has any thoughts again, he will kill him directly. The two attacks made Su Chen feel passionate, and he liked this feeling of violence. It made him like this martial arts world more and more. Let the spies of Jinfeng Xiao investigate the news of the 5th grade Lotus platform in the black market with all their strength. I want to know who released it, and the truth of this matter. Su Chen ordered. Subordinates, do it immediately. Ling Xian said hurriedly, and was about to leave the secret room. Tidy up, don't let anyone see anything unusual. Su Chen glanced at Ling Xian and said, subordinates understand. Ling Xian immediately began to tidy up, adjusting his breathing, and trying to minimize his injuries. Where is Lei Yao's manor? Since he knew where it was, of course he had to investigate. Outside the city, in the western suburbs, a manor next to Bei Lipo. Go down. Knowing the address, Su Chen waved his hand to let Ling Xian leave. After Ling Xian received the order, he pushed open the door of the secret room, walked out, and quickly left the Su mansion. Su Chen did not leave the secret room immediately. Instead, he practiced in the secret room. Although he had the invincible divine sword Bei Xian Yu, he still needed to have his own strength. His own strength was the foundation. He could not rely entirely on Bei Xian Yu. He adjusted his breath and suppressed the violent impulse just now. He found a good place, sat cross-legged, and exhaled a breath of turbid air from his mouth. Eliminate distracting thoughts. Start practicing. Judging from today's situation, the Vajra mixed Yunjin, this kind of fierce technique, is very suitable for people like me who have no martial arts experience. The punching force is violent and brave, and the momentum can suppress the opponent. Ling Xian practiced a technique called Purple Blood Gong. He was in the middle stage of the innate, but the Kijin he burst out was not as good as himself. So Su Chen decided to continue practicing the Vajra mixed Yunjin. First practice the Vajra mixed Yunjin to the second stage. Soon, the Vajra mixed Yunjin in Su Chen's body began to flow. With the help of his own innate Kijin last night, he had already practiced the first 3 levels, and now he was practicing the 4th level. When it started to flow, the Kijin in his body was much larger than the previous 3 levels, and there was a stream of Ki and blood entangled in the internal force, rushing towards his flesh and blood, and quickly merging into his flesh and blood. And as time went on, the speed of this fusion became faster and faster. Su Chen himself felt that his flesh and blood had become much stronger. After a while, Su Chen suddenly felt hungry. Although the Vajra mixed Yunjin has internal force, it is also a physical technique, so it consumes a lot of energy in the body. He took out the Ki and blood pills he won in the lottery. They were just ordinary Ki and blood pills, 50 pills in a bottle. He swallowed them to replenish his Ki and blood. After recovering some Ki and blood, Su Chen stood up, tidied his clothes, and walked out of the secret room. Outside the secret room, Steward Fubo was pacing back and forth. Ling Xian came out, but Su Chen had not made a move. He wanted to enter the secret room, but the door of the secret room could not be pushed open. It should be locked, so he could only wait here. Seeing Su Chen coming out of the secret room, Fubo immediately stepped forward. Master, are you okay? I'm fine. Prepare some food for me, preferably meat, because I have consumed a lot of energy in cultivation. Su Chen said. Hearing Su Chen's words, Fubo on the side was stunned. He thought Su Chen was thinking about something in the secret room, or hiding in the secret room for safety. But he didn't expect Su Chen to practice in the secret room. Is there any problem? Looking at the stunned Fubo, Su Chen couldn't help asking. No, I will prepare it for you immediately. Fubo immediately went to arrange it. Su Chen took a look at the sky outside. It was probably around 1 PM. He just dealt with some things in the morning and then practiced. He didn't expect that so much time had passed. After dinner, I'll go to the market and buy some Ki and blood elixirs. Su Chen thought to himself. He is now practicing the Vajra Yunjin and will consume a lot of Ki and blood elixirs. The 2 bottles he drew will not last long, so he plans to go out and buy some. Originally, he could ask the housekeeper Fubo to prepare some Ki and blood elixirs for practice. But he doesn't trust Fubo yet. He is afraid that the other party has tampered with the elixir. With his current ability, he can't tell whether the elixir has been tampered with, so he thinks about buying it himself. Of course, he will also stroll around the streets of Qingcheng. As for where to go out, in order to prevent people from knowing that he is going out, Su Chen is going to leave through the secret passage in the secret room. Soon, Su Chen finished his meal, put down his bowl and chopsticks, stood up and said to Uncle Fu beside him, "Uncle Fu, I will continue to practice in the afternoon. Don't disturb me when I'm practicing." Hearing that Su Chen was going to continue practicing, Uncle Fu was a little surprised. He said, "Master, practicing martial arts cannot be completed in a short time. In fact, Master, you can go to Madam more often." Hearing Uncle Fu's words, Su Chen paused slightly. The meaning of Uncle Fu's words was very clear. He was asking him to ask for help from the second mother in the backyard. "When the time comes, I will." "Thank you Uncle Fu for reminding me." Su Chen nodded. Judging from his current behavior, this Uncle Fu should have no ill will towards him. Otherwise, he would not have reminded him. After entering the secret room, Su Chen found a set of ordinary linen clothes that he had prepared before from the space ring, put them on, and then slightly changed his appearance, put on a cloak and left. The outer entrance of the secret room passage was in an abandoned house. Su Chen looked around and found no one, so he left the passage. This is a slum in Qingcheng. There were dilapidated houses everywhere, and noisy sounds in the alleys. Su Chen did not stay here for long, and headed towards the most prosperous street in Qingcheng. On the way, Su Chen also bought a large black cloak. This was better than his previous simple black clothes, which could hide his figure. After all, he had a lot of things to do recently, and he needed to cover up some of his figure, in order to prevent someone from judging him by his figure. Chapter 12. Rosewood Palace, Mu Qingsu. Another place. Ling Xian's mansion. As soon as he came back, he immediately mobilized the spies of Jinfengxiayu Tower to investigate the black market. He swallowed some pills to recover from his injuries. Because Su Chen wanted to keep him alive, he didn't use heavy hands. After he came back, he swallowed some pills and recovered from some of his injuries. At least if outsiders didn't pay too much attention to his breathing, they wouldn't be able to tell that he was injured. In the hall, Jiang Chendong and Lu Wenkang were already waiting. Seeing Ling Xian walk out of the backyard, Deputy Tower Master Ling, "This Su Chen is a little weird, you should take him down today," Jiang Chendong said. Hearing Jiang Chendong's words, Ling Xian almost vomited blood. Today he wanted to take down Su Chen, but he didn't take him down, but was beaten up by him. Don't be in a hurry about Su Chen, let him be proud first. How is the information about the 5th grade Lotus platform in the black market? Ling Xian asked to change the subject. There are many people investigating now. Besides us, there are at least 3 forces investigating. It seems that they are all interested in the 5th grade Lotus platform. However, we only found out that the person who sent the message was a person wrapped in a black robe. His voice was changed, so we can't use it as a basis. We can only investigate from his figure. It will probably take some time to find this person. Jiang Chendong said. Investigate with all your strength. Make sure to find this person. And when is the envoy from the Red Sandalwood Palace expected to arrive? Ling Xian then asked Lu Wenkang, who was standing beside him. According to the reply from there, the envoy should be here in 5 days. Lu Wenkang replied. Can you tell me who the envoy is? Ling Xian asked. Mu Qingsu from the Mu family of the Red Sandalwood Palace. Lu Wenkang said. The surname is Mu. Hearing this news, Ling Xian was slightly startled and looked a little disappointed. Master, it seems that we have to deal with Su Chen within 5 days. Once Mu Qingsu comes, she will definitely support Su Chen and become the master of Jinfengxiayu Tower. After all, Master Su was a follower of the Mu family. Lu Wenkang said in a deep voice. Why Su Mengbei's Jinfengxiayu Tower was able to get help from the Red Sandalwood Palace. It was because Su Mengbei was once a follower of a big shot in the Red Sandalwood Palace. That big shot was surnamed Mu. Now the Red Sandalwood Palace envoy is also surnamed Mu, which shows that the other party attaches great importance to this matter. Moreover, Su Chen is Su Mengbei's son. Since the other party's surname is Mu, he must support Su Chen. This is why Ling Xian looked lost. although he was scared by Su Chen and had fear. But if the people of the Red Sandalwood Palace appointed him as the master of Jinfeng Xiao Tower, Su Chen would not be able to object. Now it seems that the wish has not been fulfilled. As for Lu Wenkang's statement of taking down Su Chen within 5 days, it is completely impossible. He felt that, even if he entered the late Xiantian stage, he would probably be beaten up in front of Su Chen. Now he could only listen to Su Chen's orders. Su Chen, don't do anything for now. Investigate the black market first, and the cause of the owner's death. Otherwise, when the Red Sandalwood Palace envoy comes, we won't know anything, and it will be difficult to explain. Ling Xian changed the subject. Hearing Ling Xian's words, Lu Wenkang and Jiang Chendang both felt a little strange, but didn't say anything. Go to do things first. Especially Jiang Chendang, he still needs to help Su Chen settle Qinlan. Su Mansion, backyard. In Shangguanxian Pavilion. Miss, the envoy from the Red Sandalwood Palace is Mu Qingsu from the Mu family. Xiaolan said softly in front of Shangguanxian. I didn't expect the Mu family to attach great importance to this matter and even let Mu Qingsu come in person. Do you think it is possible that the 5th grade lotus platform was prepared by Su Mengbei to give to the Mu family? Shangguanxian paused and said. Miss, the news about the 5th grade lotus platform cannot be confirmed yet, but I have found a clue here. That is, the person who killed Su Mengbei may be related to the Lei family. Xiaolan said. Lei family? Who from the Lei family is involved in this matter? Shangguanxian asked with a cold light in his eyes. Lei Yao from the Lei family. Xiaolan replied. Lei Yao. He is involved in this matter. Investigate from Lei Yao's side and see if there are any other discoveries. And what is going on with Ling Xian? Shangguanxian thought of Ling Xian. After leaving the secret room, he didn't make any movement. He is fully investigating the situation in the black market and the clues of the murderer who killed Su Mengbei. His behavior seems a little strange. Xiaolan said with a frown. It is a little strange. Just let people pay attention to it. As long as he doesn't do anything weird, don't worry about him for the time being. What's the situation with Su Chen? Shangguanxian asked afterwards. Uncle Fu said that after Su Chen finished his meal, he went back to the secret room to continue practicing and asked people not to disturb him. I guess he was thinking about cramming for the exam. What's the point of practicing now? Xiaolan said coldly. What changes have occurred in his demeanor and mentality? Shangguanxian didn't care about Xiaolan's words, but asked about Su Chen's mentality and demeanor. Hearing this, Xiaolan said in a deep voice, Miss, Uncle Fu said that Su Chen's demeanor and mentality are very peaceful, and there is nothing to be seen. Peaceful demeanor and mentality? Su Chen, you make me a little curious. A gleam of light flashed in Shangguanxian's beautiful eyes. And in another place, Su Chen has appeared on the most prosperous street in Qingcheng. He came to a pill shop and walked straight in. Pills are the most urgently needed things for warriors. After all, pills can increase the speed of practice. There are many warriors in the pharmacy, and there are also many people dressed like him. Su Chen walked to a counter and lowered his voice slightly, making his voice sound hoarse and deep, so that people would hear the voice of a middle-aged man. I want 300 top-grade Qi and blood pills. A 900 teal silver note appeared in Su Chen's hand and he placed it on the counter. Looking at the silver note in front of him, the woman who received Su Chen showed a look of surprise on her face. Qi and blood pills are the most common pills on the market, which replenish Qi and blood. Ordinary Qi and blood pills cost 1 teal of silver. Top grade ones cost 3 teals of silver, so 300 pills would be 900 teals of silver. This is a good order. Don't look at how much money Su Chen spent at Yachen Garden. That was a flower shop, and it was the newly promoted top brand of Yachen Garden, so it was expensive. Nowadays, in Qingcheng, 3 teals of silver can be enough for a family of 5 to live for 2 months. Of course, that is for the poor. The rich spend a lot of money, but it is not money. After a brief surprise, the maid immediately went into the back hall. After a while, she placed 6 bottles of pills in front of Su Chen. 50 pills per bottle, 6 bottles of 300 pills. Please keep them. The maid handed the Qi and blood pills to Su Chen. And she also said, if you want better pills, you can actually go to the second floor. There are not only pills, but also other things. But if you want to enter the second floor, you need to pay a 1000 TL entrance fee. Perhaps she said this because she saw Chen casually taking out 900 TLs of silver notes. Of course, if it works, she can also get some small commissions. Chapter 13. Enslavement Talisman, Hidden Cloth, Diamond Crack Demon. Hearing this, Chen's heart moved. He recalled the memory of this medicine shop in his mind to see if he could find out the information about the second floor. From the incomplete memory, Chen knew that on the second floor of this medicine shop, in addition to the special blood and key elixir, there were also elixirs for the innate realm. He has now stepped into the early stage of the innate realm and needs to buy some innate pills to consolidate his own cultivation. Help me register one. Chen took out a silver note of 1000 TLs from his arms. The maid who received Chen's eyes lit up and immediately went to help Chen register an identity card. She didn't ask Chen for other information. Chen was wearing a cloak. Obviously he didn't want people to know his origins, and she still had some vision in this regard. Of course, the main reason was that there were many people like Chen in the medicine shop. Their medicine shop was open for business, not to ask people where they came from, and there was no need to know any information about them. After a moment, the maid brought a black token to Chen and said, "Sir, you can go to the second floor now. This is a tip for you." Chen took out a silver ingot from his arms and gave it to the other party and then went to the second floor. Looking at the silver ingot in front of her, the maid's eyes were bright. This was the first time that someone gave her a tip. With the token, Chen entered the second floor smoothly. Entering the second floor, a maid who was neatly dressed and good looking came up to him and did not care that Chen was wearing a bamboo hat and a linen shirt. She guessed that Chen might be a hard-working martial artist. Hard-working martial artists are different from those young masters in fancy clothes, and sometimes they spend a lot. "Sir, what help do you need? I want to buy some Xianshan pills," Chen said. Hearing that Chen wanted Xianshan pills, the pretty maid's face showed joy. There are many Xianshan warriors in Qingcheng, but not too many. Of course, the pretty woman was happy because Chen bought Xianshan pills. One Xianshan pill, 100 TLs of silver. She can get a lot of commission. "I wonder how many you need, sir." "Give me 20 first." He already has some key and blood pills, which are enough for cultivation for the time being. As for the cultivation of Xianshan Kijin, he is not in a hurry now, just buy some to consolidate his own cultivation. Xianshan cultivation to improve internal ki is more difficult than improving the physical body. The woman was very happy to hear that Chen bought 20 pills at a time. Spending 2000 TLs at a time is not a small amount. She quickly helped Chen pack 20 Xianshan pills. "Does sir have any other needs?" the pretty woman asked. "Not for the time being," Chen said, and then did not stay here, stepping out of the medicine shop. Looking at the endless stream of people, Chen sighed a little. Although it is a border area, there are still many people. There is no feeling of fear of surveillance. Chen's mind seems to be very relaxed, and yesterday, it was drizzling, making the air in Qingcheng very clear. Then Chen walked around the street market, and then returned to the entrance of the secret passage, and returned to the secret room of the Su mansion. Sitting cross-legged, he did not start practicing immediately, but checked himself. In addition to the Vajrahunyu engine, he also has 4 other skills. The Shan sect's internal skills Shan Gong, the Shan Fist, and the Dusk Drizzle Sword skill taught by Su Mengbei, and the internal strength Jinfeng Drizzle Jin. The latter 2 skills are somewhat feminine. Chen didn't practice much before. As for the 2 skills of the Shan sect, Chen's practice was average, and he could barely survive in the Shan sect. "Look, my predecessor was able to practice to the postnatal realm because he had a good father, otherwise, he couldn't even reach the postnatal realm." He cursed in his heart. Then he began to practice the Vajrahunyu engine. Judging from the current situation, he himself did not have enough experience in martial arts. So for the time being, he could only improve his physical body to an extremely strong level, overwhelm others with force, and break all methods with one force. He took out the ki and blood pills, and swallowed 5 ki and blood pills directly. A stream of ki and blood quickly surged in his body, and the Vajrahunyu engine unconsciously turned. With the cooperation of vigorous ki and blood, the Vajrahunyu engine quickly tempered his physical body. During this training, Su Chen felt that his physical strength was getting stronger. The first 3 levels of Vajrahunyu engine only made the skin of the body as hard as iron. The 4th level not only trained the physical strength, but also increased its own strength. Ki and blood pills, plus the running Vajrahunyu engine. Su Chen was like a furnace, with violent power all over his body, and a gust of wind was set off in the whole secret room. A layer of dust fell from the stone wall near him. After a while, Su Chen began to gather Vajrahunyu engine to calm the fluctuations of power in his body. Vajrahunyu engine is different from simple physical exercises. Normal physical training exercises. Under the action of such a strong ki and blood force, the bones will inevitably grow, and the body will become burly. But Vajrahunyu engine is not like that. It is a method of training the physical body. It is to take the essence and remove the dross, so that the body can become stronger without deformation. My predecessor was really useless. He practiced too few techniques. The only fist technique that suits me for now is the mountain and river fist. Su Chen said in a deep voice. As for the dusk rain sword technique, Su Chen only knows it. If he wants to improve, he feels that he may improve after practicing the 20-year sword technique. After a moment of breathing, Su Chen began to ponder. His current predicament is that he knows too little. Although he has a trump card, it doesn't mean that you can succeed just because you have a trump card. He doesn't know who his opponent is, and he has no place to use his strength. Maybe I can go to Ling Xian in the evening and see what he is investigating. Su Chen thought to himself. He doesn't have anyone he trusts around him now. Although Ling Xian is useful, he has a lot of thoughts. Once he gives him a chance, the other party will definitely counterattack. Go with Bei Xianyu tonight and completely suppress him, so that he can't have any thoughts. Su Chen thought to himself. He wanted to take advantage of Bei Xianyu's momentum. Then his mind fell on the 4 white lottery cards in his mind. Previously, Su Chen thought about collecting 10 cards and exchanging them for a blue lottery card, but his body was too useless. So he planned to use up the 4 white lottery cards to see if he could get something else. He used up the 4 white lottery cards as soon as he thought about it. Obtain 3 primary slavery talismans, the physical skill diamond crack demon skill, 1 primary weapon enhancement card, and a set of god hidden clothes HMM. Looking at this information, Su Chen's eyes lit up. Among them, the primary slavery talisman was the most important to him. He checked it out immediately. This primary slavery talisman had a 100% success rate in enslaving people below the Xiantian realm. However, it was a bit difficult to enslave the Xiantian realm, and there was no possibility of success above the Xiantian realm. It's a bit early to be happy, but 3 slavery talismans should be able to deal with the Xiantian realm. Su Chen thought to himself. Then he couldn't help but think of Ling Xian. Today, he had beaten Ling Xian to fear. If he used the slavery talisman on Ling Xian, the success rate should be higher. Once Ling Xian was controlled by him, he would have a source of intelligence. Bei Xianyu will show up at that time. He feels that he can openly cause trouble for Lei Yao of the Thunder Hall. The physical body technique, Vajra demon splitting technique, is a physical body technique with 5 levels. After all 5 levels are cultivated, one can condense the Vajra demon splitting body. There are 5 moves in conjunction with the technique: Vajra fracturing, Vajra shaking the mountain, demon splitting and burning the sky, demon splitting the sun, and finally the Vajra demon splitting body. Looking at the introduction of this technique, you can know that this is a very domineering physical body technique. It must consume a lot of blood. Su Chen put this technique aside first. Prepare to wait until the 4th level of Vajra mixed Yuanjing is cultivated to see if he can practice this technique. As for the weapon enhancement card, the meaning is very clear. That is, it can strengthen the weapon once and improve the quality of the weapon. In addition, the god hidden cloth obtained has a very simple effect. That is, it can conceal one's own breath when worn. Chapter 14 Lei Yao appears and enslaves Ling Xian. When I have time, I will take the Xiao knife left by my cheap father and strengthen it to see how much I can strengthen it. Su Chen thought to himself. He has 20 years of sword skills in his hands. If it is matched with a precious sword, it will be extraordinary once it is used. He can kill people at the peak of Xiantian or the early stage of refining spirit with one sword. This time the harvest is good. He calmed his mind and then took out the Xiantian pill. Swallowed it. Boom. As soon as the Xiantian pill entered his mouth, it melted in an instant, and then a stream of pure Xiantian qi was born in his body. Su Chen quickly operated the Shangong of Shan sect and operated these Xiantian forces into Danshan. Shangong is one of the top techniques of Shan sect, but Su Chen only has the first 4 levels. The 5th level requires contribution or money to buy, but the first 4 levels are enough for Su Chen to use temporarily. With the operation of Shangong, the effect of Xiantian pill was quickly absorbed. After consuming 5 Xiantian pills, Su Chen felt that the Xiantian qi in his body increased a little. Whether practicing internal or external skills, the consumption is not ordinary. It is true that the poor are good at literature and the rich are good at martial arts. Su Chen thought to himself. It was late at night. The moon was hanging in the sky. In Ling Xian's mansion, he was sitting alone in the study. His eyes were slightly narrowed, and his face looked a little tired. There were too few clues on Song Yuan's side, and he had no clue. In Qingcheng, people who practice cold attribute skills had not reached this level, which made him feel that the newcomer might be an outsider. Once an outsider was involved, it would be particularly difficult to investigate. Who killed Song Yuan? He is just an ordinary manager and knows nothing. Ling Xian thought in his heart with his eyes narrowed. He was very confused about Song Yuan's death and could not find any clues. If the other party wanted to warn him, why did it happen yesterday? Suddenly his eyes opened instantly, and he stood up from his chair. He flashed out of the study. At this time, a figure escaped from his eyes. Ling Xian quickly followed him out. A balcony in the backyard. The figure stopped and turned to look at Ling Xian. The man looked about 30 years old, thin, but his hands were very broad, and his eyes were like those of an eagle. Seeing the man, Ling Xian's face changed, his pupils suddenly shrank, and he said, Lei Yao, why did you come to my mansion late at night? While speaking, Ling Xian's mind became alert and his eyes looked around. After all, he knew that the person who killed Su Mengbei was in Lei Yao's mansion. Now Lei Yao came to him. It must not be to chat. There must be something bad about looking for him. Deputy Building Master Ling, don't be nervous, I'm here alone. I came to find Deputy Building Master Ling this time mainly for one thing. I want you to give the iron mine in Huo village outside the city of Jinfeng Xiao building to my Lei Hall. Lei Yao looked at Ling Xian and said. Hearing Lei Yao's words, Ling Xian's eyes turned cold. Lei Yao, you dare to ask for the mine of my Jinfeng Xiao building. Ling Xian didn't expect that Lei Yao would ask for a mine from their Jinfeng Xiao building right away. This was completely robbery. Deputy Building Master Ling, it's just a mine. Think about using a mine in exchange for your life, it's still worth it. Lei Yao said in a very calm tone. Although his tone was calm, it was threatening. Lei Yao, you are threatening me. Ling Xian's eyes became sharp, and a burst of energy burst out of his body. Today he was beaten by Su Chen, and now he was threatened by Lei Yao. He had been accumulating anger. Now he was stimulated by Lei Yao, so he attacked instantly and appeared in front of Lei Yao at a speed as fast as thunder. Lei Yao looked at Ling Xian who was rushing over. His face condensed, but his figure turned into a residual shadow. Ling Xian's palm power penetrated the residual shadow, and the attack missed. Ling Xian did not hesitate at all. His palm became a claw and he grabbed at a place with his backhand. Suddenly, 5 sharp ki burst out from his palm. Bang! The key of his palm collided with a fist. A lightning flashed on the fist. The two forces collided, and each figure retreated several steps. Are you injured? Lei Yao looked at Ling Xian and said with a condensed look. Ling Xian's strength was in the middle stage of Xiantian, and he was about to break through the late stage of Xiantian. His strength was a little stronger than his. But when he just made a move, there was a trace of lack of stamina in his ki, and it was obvious that he was injured. Jinfeng Xiao Tower and Li Tang are both among the 5 major forces in Qingcheng. However, Li Tang is the first ranked force, and Jinfeng Xiao Tower is only ranked 3rd in financial resources, but ranked last in military strength. Of course, Su Mengbei was at the peak of Xianshan before, and his strength was at the same level as the master of Litang. In addition, with the support of Zitan Palace, no one openly bothered Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. As for the strength of other people in Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, they were far behind. Even if I'm injured, I can still fight you, Ling Xian said in a cold voice. Today in the secret room, he was injured by the violent force of Su Chen's attack, and then lost the power to fight back. Part of it was because Su Chen was powerful, and the other part was because Ling Xian was careless. Otherwise, he believed that he would not be defeated by Su Chen. I'm not here to fight with you, but I hope that Deputy Building Master Ling will think it over. I'll come tomorrow and wait for your reply. After saying that, Lei Yao flashed and drifted away like a ghost. Ling Xian looked at Lei Yao's leaving figure and frowned slightly. He didn't understand why Lei Yao suddenly retreated. Normally, knowing that he was injured, Lei Yao should have been ruthless to him, instead of just leaving like that. But Lei Yao's appearance seems to show that Lei Tang is thinking about the property of Jinfeng Xiaoyu building. Ling Xian's expression became bad. He turned around and went back. After a while, he returned to the study. When he returned to the study, he found a figure sitting on his bench. The person in the position was none other than Su Chen. Deputy Building Master Ling, you said Lei Yao came here suddenly. Is it just to take the mine of my Jinfeng Xiaoyu building? Su Chen looked at Ling Xian and said. Hearing Su Chen's words, Ling Xian was stunned. He didn't expect that Su Chen was just beside them, and he and Lei Yao didn't even notice it. Don't be surprised. There is actually one more thing I want to tell you. In fact, Song Yuan was killed by my palm. While speaking, Su Chen raised his left hand, and a cold air instantly appeared in the study. And Su Chen, who was originally on the chair, suddenly appeared in front of Ling Xian. A palm was printed on Ling Xian's chest. Seeing this, Ling Xian immediately raised his hand to block Su Chen's palm. Bang! The palms collided. He felt an extremely cold air instantly rushing into his arm, and his palm instantly felt out of control. A cold air swept towards his heart, immediately mobilized his internal force to resist this cold air. At this time, a rune appeared on the palm of Su Chen's right hand, and instantly printed on Ling Xian's forehead. For some reason, when the rune appeared on Su Chen's palm, Ling Xian felt a sense of fear in his heart. He wanted to move his body with all his strength. But the next moment, a terrifying pressure fell on him. He could only watch the rune printed on his head. The moment the rune was printed, it became transparent and directly integrated into Ling Xian's mind. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15, The Void Stone, the first clue. Perhaps Ling Xian was filled with fear at this moment. Su Chen had enslaved the other party in one go. Suddenly, Su Chen realized that he could control Ling Xian's life and death at any time. With just one thought, he could destroy the other party's consciousness and kill him. At this moment, Ling Xian also realized that his life was completely controlled by Su Chen. His eyes became dim. He had always wanted to become the owner of the Golden Wind and Rain Tower and plot against Su Chen. Unexpectedly, in the end, he would be controlled by Su Chen in life and death, and end up like this. It was a bit sad. My father's death should have nothing to do with you, so you can live until now. I wanted to stay quiet for a while and let the other party take action, but those people didn't take action, so I didn't want to wait any longer. Kill Song Yuan, and see if I could draw out anything. I didn't expect that killing Song Yuan would actually lead to Lei Yao. Do you think Lei Yao's purpose of coming here was just for the mine? Su Chen returned to his chair and said. Hearing Su Chen's words, Ling Xian came back to his senses. To be honest, Su Chen had said that Song Yuan was killed by him before. At that time, he was just surprised, but didn't think much about it. Now he was shocked. When Su Chen attacked before, the coldness in his palm was extremely terrifying, which was completely beyond his imagination and cognition. The current Su Chen was completely different from the Su Chen in his memory. He was a very scary person. He adjusted his mentality and said, I thought Liao came for the mine, but he left suddenly after knowing that I was injured. There was something strange about it. He must have another purpose. But I can't guess what the specific purpose is. If you can't guess, then you can contact Liao again and see what he wants to do. And before my father was assassinated, wasn't there any sign? Chen asked. If the news on the black market is correct, then Su Mengbei must have some strange behavior in the early stage. Ling Xian has followed his cheap father for many years and should have noticed these. This subordinate really didn't care. Ling Xian began to recall, but didn't think of anything. Tomorrow I will go to the main building of Jinfeng Xiao building and officially take over Jinfeng Xiao building. You should sort out all the recent whereabouts of my father and the people he has contacted and study them carefully to see if you can find anything. Chen ordered. He wanted Ling Xian to find clues from these materials. Also, find out who among the 17 managers has other thoughts and eliminate them all. I don't want there to be other voices in Jinfeng Xiao building besides me. You need to manage your two confidants well. If you can't manage them well, get rid of them all. Chen said. His voice seemed a little cold. Yes, I understand. Ling Xian said hurriedly. His heart was cold. The owner of the building was going to purge Jinfeng Xiao building. At this time, he suddenly felt fortunate. Fortunately, he was subdued by Chen and had some value. Otherwise, he might be purged directly. Building owner, you officially took over the position of building owner. I'm afraid that the person in the dark will be against you. Ling Xian suddenly said worriedly. Are you saying that person will attack me? I really want them to attack me, so I don't have to spend time looking for them. Chen said coldly. Then he stood up and walked outside. The assassin in Liao's mansion. Keep an eye on him. If he disappears, you don't have to come to see me. Chen's voice rang in Ling Xian's mind. The voice disappeared. Chen's figure also left quietly. After Chen left, Ling Xian couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Chen put too much pressure on him. He couldn't help but sit down on the chair, and his back felt cold. Suddenly, his face changed. Then, as if he thought of something, his face showed ecstasy. Chen had just attacked him. He wanted to resist with all his strength, but he was suppressed by a force of power and couldn't move. There must be a strong person helping Chen. With such a master by his side, plus Chen's own strength and mind, Jinfeng Xiao Tower will only be the starting point for Chen. If he follows such a person, he will definitely be successful. In the future, he will definitely be more than just a deputy building owner of the Jinfeng Xiao building in Qingcheng. Moreover, he had followed his father before, and now he follows him, so his mental burden is not so heavy. Thinking of this, Ling Xian suddenly had an idea. At this time, in a manor in the city, the manor was brightly lit, and there was singing and dancing. An old man in luxurious robes was receiving two guests. One of the two was an old man in a black robe. The old man's face was withered, and his palms were like dead wood, but his eyes were shining from time to time. The other one was a young man in a white robe who looked a little imposing. The three were drinking and chatting. At this time, Liao, who had gone to see Ling Xian before, came out from behind. He came to the old man in gorgeous clothes and whispered something in his ear. Suddenly, the old man in gorgeous clothes had a condensed face and waved his hand and said, "You all go down first." The singing girls and musicians who were dancing stood up and left. The hall became quiet for a moment. Young Master Qin, Old Master Reno, something happened. Liao just went to see Ling Xian and found that Ling Xian was injured. Someone attacked Ling Xian. The old man in gorgeous clothes said to the two of them, with a hint of respect in his tone. The old man in gorgeous clothes was the second master of the Lei family, Lei Mo, and one of the two deputy hall masters of the Lei Hall. His strength was in the late Xiantian period. The fact that he could speak with respect showed that the identities of these two people were not simple. Someone attacked Ling Xian? The young man called young Master Qin frowned slightly and looked at the old man in black robe. I didn't do it. It must be someone else who did it. But we should take over the mine as soon as possible and mine the calming stone deep in the mine so that we can accelerate the maturity of the 5th grade Lotus platform. The old man said. The 5th grade Lotus platform does exist. As for why they want to take over the mine of Jinfengxiao Tower, it is mainly for the calming stone deep in the mine. That is the stone that can catalyze the maturity of the 5th grade lotus platform. As for why they are looking for Ling Xian, the main reason is that they think that Jinfengxiao is now managed by Ling Xian and Su Chen is just a puppet. Hearing the old man's words, the young man narrowed his eyes slightly, as if he was thinking, Mr. Qin, with our strength, plus the Li Tang, there is only one Jinfengxiao, and they openly ask for the mine. Can they not give it to us? The old man then said. Lei Emo on the side has not spoken, but his eyes are flashing with worry. There is a problem in openly threatening Jinfengxiao. Behind Jinfengxiao is the Red Sandalwood Palace. At this time, if their Li Tang comes forward to pressure Jinfengxiao, people will suspect that it was their Li Tang who killed Sumeng Bei. Once the people from the Red Sandalwood Palace arrive, they will definitely cause trouble for their Li Tang. The Red Sandalwood Palace is one of the 5 major demon sects outside the Great Wall. They can't afford to offend the Li Tang. Chapter 16 Blood Demon Flower, Drizzle Knife. Of course, they couldn't afford to offend the person in front of them. He could only follow orders. Hasn't Lei Yao shown up? Then let Lei Yao go to meet Ling Xian face to face tomorrow and ask him to give up the mine. The young man said. After that, he stood up and said, I'm a little tired. I'm going to go back and rest first. Lei Yao, you take young Master Qin to rest. Lei Yao arranged for Lei Yao to take the young man away. The young man nodded and, under the leadership of Lei Yao, went to the backyard of the manor. In the hall, only Lei Yao and the old man Mo were left. Old Mo, I have a bad feeling. How could the news of the 5th grade lotus platform be spread out? Lei Mo came to the old man with a wine glass and said in a deep voice, who knows? If young Master Qin can get the news, so can other people. The most important thing for you and me now is to get the mine the void stone, and accelerate the maturity of the 5th grade lotus platform. But this 5th grade lotus platform is really unpredictable. It is rumored that a treasure like the lotus platform needs to be cultivated by Buddhist monks to grow. Now we have found a plant that grows naturally. It is really surprising. The old man said. Hearing the old man's words, Lei Mo also nodded. He didn't say anything else and drank some wine with the old man. At this time, Lei Yao, who arranged young Master Qin, bowed and saluted when he entered young Master Qin's room and said, meet the master. Tell me, how is Ling Xian's injury? Young Master Qin asked. It's an internal injury. The injury is not very serious, but it affects his strength. The person who fights with him should be stronger than him, and maybe in the late stage of innateness. Lei Yao replied. Did the black market find out who sent this news? Young Master Qin asked in a deep voice. We are investigating, but the black market personnel are complicated. We are not in the intelligence department. It is difficult to find this person in a short time. Lei Yao said in a deep voice. I guess the black market matter should be spread by Mo Lao. He is forcing me to ripen the 5th grade lotus platform as soon as possible. Since he wants it as soon as possible, and Mu Qingsu has come from the Rosewood Palace, the plan has been half successful, so start to ripen the blood demon flower with all your strength. You can directly threaten Ling Xian to hand over the mine, and try to ripen it when Mu Qingsu arrives. When the time comes, I will devour the 9 nether cold key in Mu Qingsu's body, and cooperate with the blood demon flower. My qualifications and strength will definitely be able to improve rapidly, and the soul refining realm will not be my end in the future. At this point, Qin Shao's face was full of excitement. From Qin Shao's words, it can be seen that he may be the planner of this matter. The purpose is to obtain the 9 nether cold key in Mu Qingsu's body. On the other side, Su Chen returned to the secret room, came out of the secret room, and returned to his own courtyard. Undress and sleep. Relaxed his mind, and fell asleep soon. Bei Xianyu was protecting him in the dark. He believed that no one in Qingchen could harm him. The next day, Su Chen had a simple meal, and went to the main building of Jinfengxiao building. The main building of Jinfengxiao building is a 5-story building located on the downtown street of Qingchen. When Su Chen arrived at Jinfengxiao building, Ling Xian was already waiting for Su Chen. When he saw Su Chen, he immediately bowed to greet him and took Su Chen to the 5th floor of Jinfeng Xiao building. The 5th floor belongs exclusively to the owner of Jinfeng Xiao building. Su Chen stood on the balcony of the building, looking at the streets of Qingcheng. Feeling a breeze, he couldn't help but take a breath of fresh air. My lord, I'm sorting out the whereabouts and contacts of the owner before his death. I found that 3 months ago, the owner seemed to have contacted someone. This person has no business dealings with our Jinfeng Xiao building, and the owner has never contacted the other party before. Ling Xian bowed and said, "Who?" Su Chen just asked. Qin Heao, the 3rd son of the Qin family, one of the 8 great families in Lingnan County, is now visiting the Thunder Hall. He is being received by Lei Mo, the 2nd master of the Lei family. The Jinfeng Xiao Tower is not very powerful, but it is indeed famous for its intelligence and business. Qin Heao, Lei Mo of the Lei family, Lei Ao. It seems that my father's death should be related to them. Continue to investigate. I want to see why they want to kill my father. Su Chen said with a cold look in his eyes. The Qin family, one of the 8 great families in Lingnan County, is only a family, but its strength can be compared with the Shan sect. How could such a person come to see his father? For intelligence, it is impossible. The intelligence network of the 8 great families is much stronger than that of his Jinfeng Xiao Tower. Jinfeng Xiao Tower is only more famous in the territory of Qingcheng. Have some people with ulterior motives been found? If they are found, just deal with them. Su Chen said to Ling Xian. Let Ling Xian take action. It makes people think that Ling Xian is dealing with dissidents, preparing to take charge of Jinfeng Xiao Tower and downplay his existence. This is a list of people with ulterior motives. 8 of the 17 people are in contact with the other 4 major forces. Ling Xian handed the list to Su Chen. No need to hand it over to me. You can handle it yourself. Su Chen did not take the list, but spoke. He is not the previous Su Chen, who has no feelings for the people in Jinfeng Xiao Tower. What he wants now is control. Even if Ling Xian plays tricks, it doesn't matter to him. The other party's life and death is only a matter of his thoughts. Hearing Su Chen's words, Ling Xian's face showed joy. He didn't think about this list at all. Where is my father's Xiao knife? Help me get it. Also, get a copy of the martial arts secrets in Jinfeng Xiao Tower. Su Chen said. He also has a primary enhancement card on him, ready to enhance his Sumengbei Xiao knife. See what quality it can reach. The Lord's Xiao knife is in the inner room. I will go to the 3rd floor to get the secret book list for you. Ling Xian said as he took Su Chen into the inner room next door. Xiao knife was placed on the knife rack. Okay, get the secret book information and go deal with the matter. I'll give you 1 day to finish this matter. After this matter is done, I think Lei Ao will continue to come to you. Su Chen said. Yes. Ling Xian bowed and left the room. Su Chen walked to the knife rack and took Xiao knife off the knife rack. Swish. Pull it open directly. The knife was as thin as a cicada's wing, exuding a sharp breath. Su Chen waved his hand, and the knife flashed, and the air seemed to be swung out of a trace. His eyes lit up, and the internal energy instantly poured into Xiao knife, and the blade suddenly vibrated and hummed, and a visible knife aura bloomed on the blade of Xiao knife. Seeing this scene, Su Chen's face showed joy, and subconsciously, he chopped with a knife. Swish. The blade went straight through the long table in front of him. After the long knife passed, the tablet top was intact, with no visible changes. Su Chen slowly came to the long table, and with a light touch of his palm, the long table was instantly split in 2. What a sharp Xiao knife. It will probably kill people without blood. I wonder what it will be like after strengthening. Su Chen's eyes flickered, and his heart surged. Chapter 17, Sword Path Enlightenment, Blood Sacrifice. In his mind, he used the primary enhancement card directly. But, in an instant, a silver light bloomed on his drizzle knife, and the whole room was briefly covered with a silver light. Fortunately, there was only Su Chen in the room. Otherwise, if someone saw him, they would definitely exclaim. The blade, as thin as a cicada's wing, seemed to be injected with vitality, and it made a slight trembling sound. And some lines like falling drizzle appeared on the blade. Su Chen's palm gently touched the blade, and suddenly a knife intent came from the blade. Su Chen was shocked. He couldn't help But think of the dusk drizzle knife in his mind. Although he didn't practice this knife method much, it was Su Mengbei's unique skill after all, and he had memorized it since he was a child, so Su Chen unconsciously used it. And the golden wind and drizzle energy in his body also started to work at this moment. Cooperating with the dusk drizzle knife method. It is a silver long knife. After it is used, a rosy glow that only appears at dusk appears. In the rosy glow, drops of drizzle appear, which are slow in the early stage, and then strong and rainy in the end. Swish, swish, swish. The knife flashed freely in the house. After a moment, Su Chen stopped swinging, with a satisfied smile on his face. He didn't expect that just the primary enhancement card would allow him to feel the knife path insights left by the previous user on the blade. Of course, it was not just the improvement of dusk drizzle knife skills. Even the golden wind and drizzle energy in his body had also improved a lot. I'm looking for some innate internal energy pills. With the 3 years of innate internal energy I got before, I might be able to reach the middle stage of the innate. This cultivation speed is really fast. Su Chen thought to himself. Then he couldn't help but think that Ling Xian had practiced for so long and was only in the middle stage of the innate. Cultivation is really too slow. At this time. Boom. Boom. The table and cabinet that were previously crossed by Su Chen's knife light instantly scattered on the ground, making a thumping sound. Looking at this situation, Su Chen secretly thanked himself for not performing it on the roof. Otherwise, if the roof fell down, the whole house would be in a mess. Hearing the sound upstairs, a disciple of the golden wind and drizzle building downstairs hurried up. Master, what happened? The disciple bowed outside the door. Nothing, you go down. Don't come up without my order, Su Chen said. Hearing Su Chen's words, the disciple glanced into the room and saw the scattered tables and chairs on the ground. He thought to himself, Master, I guess you got humiliated by Deputy Master Ling, and you took these furniture to vent your anger. I'd better stay away from you. Outsiders know about Su Chen's current situation. The disciples of Jinfeng Xiao building also know. It's just a puppet pushed out by Deputy Master Ling. Thinking of this, he quickly bowed and retreated. Su Chen looked at these cut tables and chairs and threw them directly into the space ring. There were knife marks and residual knife energy on these tables and chairs, which were not easy to flow out. The main reason was that Su Chen had to keep a low profile for the time being. Because Su Mengbei's matter involved Qin Heyo, the third young master of the Qin family. Even if Bei Xianai was by his side, he still had no chance of winning against the Qin family, so he needed to stay in the dark for the time being. When he killed Qin Heyo, no one would know it was him. But he also wanted to know, what is the purpose of Qin Heyo coming here? Lei Yao came to ask for the mine, probably under the instruction of Qin Heyo. Qin Heyo could not just want the mine outside their HUO village, he must have other purposes. Such a sharp knife should see blood in my hands, so I will use the killer of Lei Mansion to sacrifice the knife, and by the way, help the original owner to avenge a little. Su Chen put the drizzle knife into the space ring, returned to the main house, sat down, and began to ponder. Lei Yao wanted the mine in HUO village. There are only ores in the mine. Just see if the Lei family has recently purchased ores. If they have not purchased ores, then it means that there are other things in the mine in HUO village. Thinking of this, Su Chen calmed down. When Ling Xian comes back, check for news in this regard. There are still too few people. Su Chen sighed again. In order not to expose himself, he can't do something in person for the time being. Originally, he wanted to show himself, but he didn't expect that the matter involved the Qin family, and he had to continue in the dark. Use the slave card on Uncle Fu later, Su Chen said in his heart. Maybe that Uncle Fu was sincere to Su Chen, but that was only the previous Su Chen, and had nothing to do with him. He needed to eliminate all dangers. Moreover, he wanted to learn about his second mother from Uncle Fu. Su Chen still remembered what Uncle Fu said before. It seems that my second mother is not simple. After sorting out the matter, Su Chen looked at Ling Xian to help him prepare the secret book of Jinfeng Xiao Ta. They were basically acquired and horizontal training methods, such as Iron Blood Fist, 18 Root Grabbing Hand, Iron Cloth Shirt, Golden Bell Cover and other methods. There were only 3 innate methods, Yiki Hunyuanjin, Zuanbing Han Xiangjin, and Tei Invisible Palm. Su Chen looked through them and finally chose Zuanbing Han Xiangjin. He has the Ice Kirin arm, and if it is combined with Zuanbing Han Xiangjin, the power will be greatly enhanced. At this time, the residents of Lin Zhi, one of the 18 managers of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, Ling Xian appeared with Jiang Chendang and Lu Wenkang. I wonder what Deputy Tower Master Ling is here for. Lin Zhi is about 40 years old. He had just entered the Xianshan realm a year ago and was in charge of the pawn shop business in the northern part of Jinfeng Xiaolao in Qingcheng. He was also the intelligence leader of the northern street. Jinfeng Xiaolao had 18 managers before, but only 8 managers were stationed in Qingcheng and the surrounding areas. The other 10 people were assigned to the 10 counties under Qingcheng. He was able to take over the affairs of Jinfeng Xiaolao in Qingcheng. This shows that Su Mengbei trusts Lin Zhi very much. Lin Zhi is also very loyal to Su Mengbei. But after Su Mengbei died, the Wang family found him. The Wang family controls the dining hall, one of the 5 major forces in Qingcheng. The dining hall controls 70% of the restaurant business in Qingcheng. They saw that Su Mengbei was dead, so they were thinking about some of the business at Jinfeng Xiaolao, so they contacted Lin Zhi. Lin Zhi believed that after Su Mengbei died, Ling Xian and Su Chen could not support Jinfeng Xiaolao at all. It was mainly in terms of strength. In the world of warriors, the ultimate determining factor is still strength. Needless to say, Su Chen's strength is too weak, and Ling Xian's strength is close to the late Xianshan period. But a force like the Golden Wind and Rain Tower must have a peak Xianshan in charge. So the Golden Wind and Rain Tower will be kicked out of the 5 major forces. Of course, he also knew that the Red Sand Palace outside the Great Wall was behind the Golden Wind and Rain Tower. But once the people from the Red Sand Palace came, it might change the dynasty, and he, as the manager, might not be there anymore. So he agreed to cooperate with the Wang family. He believed that it was not just him who cooperated with other forces in the Golden Wind and Rain Tower. Let's talk inside, Ling Xian said as he walked towards the hall. Lin Zhi narrowed his eyes and followed Ling Xian into the hall. This time I came here mainly for the position of the owner of the Golden Phoenix and Rain Tower. I want Brother Lin to support me and abolish Su Chen's position as the owner, Ling Xian said directly after entering the hall, and waved his hand to let Jiang Chendang and Lu Wenkang go out. The 2 went out and closed the door. Inside the house, Lin Zhi frowned and said, Deputy Building Master, you pushed Su Chen to the position of Building Master before, and now the matter is not over yet. How come? He thought to himself, could it be that Ling Xian got some support to dare to do this? I got some support here, and I can solve this trouble, so I don't need Su Chen. Ling Xian walked in front of Lin Zhi and said, I wonder who supported Deputy Building Master Ling. Lin Zhi was shocked and asked in a low voice. I got the support of the young building master. When Ling Xian spoke, a cold light flashed in his eyes, and his palm was raised. Purple light flowed between his 5 fingers, and he grabbed Lin Zhi's throat in a lightning speed. Before Lin Zhi could react, his 5 fingers burst out and crushed Lin Zhi's throat. Chapter 18, Frost Moon Sect, Purple Frost Moon. Lin Zhi's eyes widened. He didn't expect Ling Xian to suddenly attack, and he didn't understand the meaning of Ling Xian's words. The owner of the building said that people with ulterior motives don't need to stay in Jinfeng Xiaoyu building, so I will eliminate you for the owner of the building. Also, I have surrendered to the owner of the building. Ling Xian loosened his palm while speaking. Bang! Lin Zhi's body fell to the ground, his eyes still wide open, but his eyes were surprised and puzzled. Looking at the body lying on the ground, Ling Xian walked in front of him and closed his eyes. Then he stepped out of the hall and said to Lu Wenkang and Jiang Chendang beside him, cut the grass and root it out, leaving no one alive. Ling Xian has now completely surrendered to Su Chen. He wants to become Su Chen's executioner and kill those who have ulterior motives with ruthless means. Lu Wenkang and Jiang Chendang looked at each other. Their eyes were stunned, but they did not hesitate, especially Jiang Chendang, who gave a signal with his hand. The people arranged outside the house rushed in quickly. Soon, the bloody atmosphere spread in Lin Zhi's mansion. In just one day, Ling Xian eliminated the 8 managers of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. At dusk, in Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, Master, all the people have been cleared out. 800,000 taels of property have been found from the 8 families and have been taken to the main building. Ling Xian said, take out 100,000 taels to reward the people who made the move and bring the Zuanbing Hanxiang Jin to me. Don't let others know. By the way, find me a secluded house in the city. I need it. Su Chen ordered. Yes. Ling Xian bowed and retreated. Soon, he came to Su Chen with the Zuanbing Hanxiang Jin. I'll take the secret book first, and you should deal with the house as soon as possible. Su Chen picked up the Zuanxiang Hanxiang Jin, walked out, went downstairs, got on a previously prepared carriage, and headed towards the Su mansion. The journey seemed very peaceful, but the whole Qingcheng was spread with the news of Ling Xian's methods. Eliminating dissidents, launching a family annihilation tragedy, and killing the 8 stewards of Jinfeng Xiailao in one day. Many people were stunned by Ling Xian's ruthless means. No one knew why Ling Xian suddenly did this. When the news spread in Qingcheng, Su Chen had already returned to the Su mansion. Steward Fu Bo was waiting for Su Chen at the door. Seeing Su Chen getting off the carriage, he immediately stepped forward. Master, are you okay? There was some concern in his tone. It's okay. I just stayed at Jinfeng Xiailao for a day. Nothing happened. Su Chen followed Steward Fu Bo into the house. Seeing that there was no one around, Fu Bo said, Master, Deputy Master Ling, today we killed 8 stewards and their families. It can be said that blood flowed like a river. Hearing Fu Bo's words, Su Chen pretended to be surprised. Deputy Master Ling took action and killed 8 stewards. What is he trying to do? Su Chen frowned as he spoke. Then he sighed and said, although I'm the owner of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower now, I don't have the final say. Let's leave it like this for now. Arrange some food for me. After I finish eating, I will go into the secret room to practice for a while. Su Chen was thinking about practicing the Zuanbing Hanxiang Jin. See how well it fits with his ice killing arm. Hearing Su Chen's words, Uncle Fu's eyes dimmed. He told Su Chen these things, in fact, just hoping that Su Chen would know these. After a while, the two came to the dining room. The dining room. The furnishings inside are relatively simple, with an antique dining table and some wooden chairs. But at this time, there was already a person sitting at the dining table. There was also a maid standing next to that person. It was Su Chen's second mother Shangwen Xian and the maid Xiaolan. Why are they here for dinner today? Su Chen's heart moved. His eyes couldn't help but look at Shangwen Xian. He didn't have much impression of this second mother in his memory. It was after he entered the Shan Gate that he entered their Su mansion. Previously, he had met Shangwen Xian at Su Mengbei's morning hall. Hello, second mother. Su Chen bowed slightly. Su Chen still had to be particular about some things that were obvious. Sit down. Shangwen Xian pointed to the chair opposite. Su Chen walked to the opposite side and sat down. The other maid standing in the hall immediately brought some food to Su Chen. Shangwen Xian didn't say anything and picked up the bowl and chopsticks. I heard that you have been practicing recently and your strength is at the peak of the acquired stage. This is a bottle of dust you and Dan prepared by your father before he died. There are 10 pills in it. He originally wanted to wait for you to use it when you came back, but he was assassinated before he could give it to you. I have kept it here all the time, and now I will give it to you on his behalf. After a while, Shangwen Xian saw that Su Chen had put down his bowl and chopsticks. He put down his bowl and chopsticks, took out a jade bottle from his arms, and handed it to Su Chen. The fingers he stretched out were as slender as jade. Thank you, second mother. Su Chen hurriedly stood up and took the jade bottle, with excitement on his face. But he thought to himself, this pill should not be obtained by Su Mengbei, but Shangwen Xian took it out himself. Is he helping me break through to the Xianshan realm, so that I can deal with Ling Xian? Today Ling Xian took action to eliminate the 8 stewards. This made Shangwen Xian feel threatened. Chen Yuandan is the best pill for breaking through to the Xianshan bottleneck, and it is very difficult to find. The main reason is that this pill is aimed at the Xianshan bottleneck, and it is very difficult to refine, so it is more precious than the pill that increases the Xianshan internal energy. Shangwen Xian took out a bottle at once, which shows that his identity is not ordinary. How could such a person become Su Mengbei's second mother? We need to check it out carefully. Su Chen pretended to be excited and put the thing in his arms. Then he said to Shangwen Xian, "Second mother, I have almost eaten. I will go to the secret room to practice first. If there is anything, let Uncle Fu wait for me outside the secret room." Su Chen stood up and said. Shangwen Xian nodded and said, "Go ahead. The road of martial arts is like climbing mountains and crossing rivers. If you don't advance, you will retreat. I hope you can break through to the Xianshan realm as soon as possible." Su Chen nodded. Su Chen, is a cheating player. He has already broken through the Xianshan realm. After a slight salute, he walked out of the dining room and headed towards the direction of the secret room for cultivation. Uncle Fu also followed Su Chen. In front of the secret room, Su Chen said to Uncle Fu, "Uncle Fu, we need to add some things to the secret room. Come in with me." Uncle Fu didn't think much and followed Su Chen into the secret room. The moment he entered the secret room, Uncle Fu suddenly felt that his whole body was suppressed by a huge pressure. His whole mind was pressed down by the heavy mountain, and he was confused. The enslavement rune in Su Chen's hand appeared again and directly hit Uncle Fu's mind. The effect was very good. He still enslaved Uncle Fu in one go. The main reason was that Uncle Fu's strength was at the peak of the acquired realm and had not yet reached the Xianshan realm. After a while, Uncle Fu's expression recovered and he looked at Su Chen with horror. "I didn't expect that you have such a method, young master. My previous worries were unnecessary," Uncle Fu said. He didn't feel any fear or uneasiness about Su Chen enslaving him. He was loyal to Su Mengbei and Su Chen. "Tell me about my second wife, Shangwen Xian. I want to know who she is," Su Chen asked. "Young master, I only knew the identity of the second wife after the death of the master. She is one of the saints of the Hanyu sect, named Zi Hanyu. She has nothing to do with the master. She entered the Su mansion and should have some cooperation with the master. I don't know the details," Uncle Fu said. "Hanyu sect, Zi Hanyu?" Su Chen frowned slightly. The Hanyu sect is different from other forces. It is one of the sects wanted by the Dazhao government. It is rumored that it was founded by the orphan princess of the Dachu dynasty, the previous emperor of the Dazhao dynasty. Chapter 19. You're courting death. No one can save you. No wonder Uncle Fu asked him to see Shangwen Xian more often. It turned out that he wanted Shangwen Xian to protect him and keep him safe. "I know about this matter. This is Chen Yuan Dan. Uncle Fu, take it and see if you can break through to the Xianshan realm," Su Chen said. "Master, you are now at the peak of the acquired realm. If you take this Chen Yuan Dan, you will definitely be able to enter the Xianshan realm. I'm old, and it is useless for me to enter the Xianshan realm," Uncle Fu said hurriedly. "I have already entered the Xianshan realm. This pill is useless to me." Su Chen handed the medicine bottle to Uncle Fu and waved his hand to let Uncle Fu leave the secret room. He still needs to practice. He has to go out at night. Go kill the killer. Use the killer's blood to commemorate Su Mengbei and help the original owner fulfill a wish. Hearing that Su Chen has entered the Xianshan realm, Uncle Fu's face showed surprise. But thinking of Su Chen's method just now, it feels normal for Su Chen to enter the Xianshan realm. "Thank you, master," Uncle Fu hurriedly thanked. Su Chen closed the secret room and began to sit cross-legged. He first directly extracted the 3 years of innate internal energy. Suddenly, a stream of innate internal energy appeared in his body, which merged with his own innate internal energy, circulated in his body, and continuously cleansed his meridians. Taking this opportunity, Su Chen also swallowed a few innate pills to accelerate the circulation of this internal energy and improve his strength. After a while, Su Chen opened his eyes, and a light flashed in his eyes. All the internal energy in his body was restrained by him. Then he swallowed the key and blood pill and began to temper his body. Suddenly, the key and blood rolled all over his body, and red light continued to appear. It seemed that a force was derived from the flesh and blood. At this time, in another place, Ling Xian's mansion, Lei Yao appeared outside Ling Xian's mansion in a carriage. He directly reported his name. The guard quickly entered the courtyard to report. After a while, a middle-aged man who looked like a butler brought Lei Yao to the backyard. At this time, the sky was a little dim. Lei Protector, you came here last night and again today. What do you want to do? Do you think I will give you the mine just like that? Ling Xian looked at him and said coldly. Deputy Building Master Ling, let me congratulate you first. You have eliminated your enemies in the Golden Wind and Drizzle building and controlled the Golden Wind and Drizzle building. But although you have controlled the Golden Wind and Drizzle building, our King Chen is still very small, and there are many people outside that we cannot afford to offend. Do you know who has set his eyes on that mine? The third young master of the Qin family in the county government, young master Qin Hao. Lei Yao said. Humph, Lei Yao, that's just an ordinary mine. Why would the third young master Qin be thinking about that mine? I think it's your Lei Hall who wants that mine. Ling Xian looked at Lei Yao and said. He said these words mainly to test Lei Yao. Don't you know that there is a large number of void stones deep in the mine? It seems that, although you are the deputy building master, you don't know many things. Hearing Ling Xian's words, Lei Yao said. Empty stone, your Lei family has been collecting empty stone recently. Is it because the owner of the building refused to let us leave the mine that your Lei family sent assassins to kill our owner? Ling Xian asked in a cold voice, staring at Lei Yao. He now wanted to know who sent someone to kill Su Mengbei. He guessed that it was not the third young master of the Qin family, but someone from the Lei Hall. The third young master of the Qin family, Qin Hao, had masters around him, so he didn't need assassins to kill people. So it is possible that the Lei family paid someone to kill the former owner of the building. Su Mengbei is too stubborn. The third young master Qin approached him twice, but he refused. It is because the empty stone is needed by the Red Sandalwood Palace that he is holding on to the mine. He is really loyal. I saw that the third young master couldn't do anything with him, so he asked someone to get rid of him. Deputy Owner Ling, I don't think you will be like Su Mengbei. Hand over the title deed of the mine properly. It will be good for everyone. After you do this, I will introduce you to the young master Qin. Lei Yao's threatening words were full of wooing. Hearing Lei Yao's words, Ling Xian's eyes became uncertain. It seemed that he was thinking about the interests involved. Looking at Ling Xian's expression, Lei Yao sneered in his heart and said, Deputy Building Master Ling, you are a smart man. You should know what to do. Lei Yao, I don't understand. Even if the building master doesn't give you the deed, you can directly rob the mine. Why do you want to kill the building master? Ling Xian asked in a deep voice. Behind your building master is the Rosewood Palace. If we rob the mine, Su Mengbei will definitely contact the Rosewood Palace. When the Rosewood Palace sends experts, we still can't get the mine, and it may also cause trouble to my Lei family. If he dies, the Rosewood Palace will not send any experts. After all, the Golden Wind and Rain building is just a small industry. You know everything you want to know. I will come to get the deed tomorrow night. You only have one day to consider. Lei Yao glanced at Ling Xian and turned to leave. Looking at Lei Yao's disappearing back, the previous gloom on Ling Xian's face disappeared and instead revealed a hint of happiness. Lei Yao, I didn't expect that your visit would make me a great contribution. I really want to thank you. Originally, you might have lived for a while, but now you probably won't live past tomorrow. You're looking for death. Who can save you? Ling Xian planned to tell Su Chen about this matter early tomorrow morning. By then, Lei Yao would definitely not live past tomorrow. Late at night, Ling Xian was in the study, checking the secret letters and the bamboo slips that flew from different directions. Although he already knew the cause of Su Mengbei's death, Qin Hao's visit should not only be for the calming stone, but must have other purposes. So he still needs to dig deeper to find out Qin Hao's purpose. As the deputy owner of the Golden Wind and Rain Tower, Ling Xian's intelligence ability is extraordinary. Otherwise, he would not have found out that the killer was in Lei Yao's mansion so early. Suddenly, a figure entered the courtyard and came in front of Ling Xian. Meet the master. The killer's position has not moved, right? Su Chen asked. That killer has not left and is still within our sight. Okay, I'll go get rid of him first. Getting rid of one first will make me feel relieved. My lord, I already know the reason for the death of the host. Ling Xian immediately told Su Chen what Lei Yao said today. Kinheo, calming stone. What do they need so many calming stones for? Su Chen was a little puzzled. Triggering task. The host knows the cause of Su Mengbei's death. Find out why Kinheo wants calming stone and reward 5 white lottery cards. Su Chen's mind moved slightly. At this time, Ling Xian bowed and said, I have arranged for spies to investigate and will find out as soon as possible and report to the Lord. Okay, you take care of this matter. And where is Lei Yao now? I will get rid of him this time. Su Chen said coldly. He has a task, to find out the cause of Su Mengbei's death and help with revenge. The cause of death is already known, and he plans to kill Lei Yao and the killer first to see if he can complete the task. I have found out that Lei Yao has returned to the Thunder Hall and has not come out since then. He should be in the 5th house in the backyard of the Thunder Hall. Ling Xian said. Then get rid of Lei Yao first, and then go outside the city to get rid of the killer. Su Chen said. Lei Yao's strength is in the middle stage of the Xianshan, which is similar to Ling Xian. He can be dealt with, but Lei Yao is in the Thunder Hall and needs to be lured out. Of course, if he can't be lured out, Bei Xianyu can also take action. Of course, if he can't take action, he still won't take action. After finding out Kinheo's purpose, it may be time for Bei Xianyu to take action to get rid of him. Chapter 20. Cutting off the head with one sword. At the same time, in the backyard of Yuchen Garden, compared with the brightly lit front yard, the backyard seemed a little quiet. The madam was standing respectfully in front of the woman in the red phoenix embroidered long skirt. Madam, Kinlan was not able to enter the Su mansion, but was arranged outside. Su Chen did not go to see Kinlan these 2 days. The madam said. Interesting, I will contact Su Chen when I have time. The woman in the long skirt smiled. The smile was charming. Madam, today Ling Xian of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower eliminated 8 managers who opposed him, and now he has completely controlled Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. Su Chen has completely become a puppet. It's useless for us to contact him. I guess Ling Xian may take action against Su Chen next. The madam said in a deep voice. Ling Xian will not take action. Su Chen is Su Mengbei's son. Ling Xian will not take action against him until the people from the Rosewood Palace arrive. Recently, the Lei family has been buying up calming stones on the market. How is the investigation going? The woman in the long skirt asked. This matter may be related to Kinheo, the 3rd young master of the Qin family in the county, but we haven't found out what exactly he did. I want to contact Ling Xian to see if I can buy some clues from him. The old procuress said. As the intelligence agency of King Cheng, Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower should know the purpose of the Lei family's large-scale purchase of calming stones. Calming stones are one of the basic materials for refining magic weapons. Although they are precious, there is no need to buy them on a large scale. There must be other circumstances. You can go to Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower and ask them to investigate. The woman in the red skirt nodded. Then she continued to ask, is there any news about the 5th grade Lotus platform on the black market? Reporting to my wife, there has been no news since the last message was sent out. It's very strange. The old procuress said in a deep voice. This matter is suspicious. Did the other party release the news just to attract people's attention to the Golden Wind and Rain Tower? Tell us that Su Chen may know the whereabouts of the 5th grade Lotus platform, but if Su Chen knows, they should not spread the news. The woman in the red skirt frowned slightly, unable to guess the reason. Go down first. I will find time to meet Su Chen in person. Maybe I can discuss with him and help me meet the people of the Red Sandalwood Palace. The woman in the red skirt waved her hand. Thunder Hall. In the middle of the night, only some tiny lights flickered, and some Thunder Hall guards were patrolling. Lei Yao sat cross-legged on the bed to practice. His upper body showed strong muscles, and lightning patterns flickered on his muscles. Lei Yao practiced the Lei family, Thunder Python power, a kind of thunder attribute innate internal power. The thunder attribute internal power has a strong attack power, and can also temper the inner body. It is also the top innate internal power in Qingcheng Prefecture. It is divided into 5 levels. Now Lei Yao has only practiced to the 3rd level. Because of his qualifications, he has not been able to practice to the 4th level for many years. So his strength has always remained at the middle stage of the innate realm. He joined Kinheo just to get some resources from Kinheo to help him cultivate the Thunder Python Force to the 4th level and enter the late stage of the innate realm. A moment later, Leieo opened his eyes. Suddenly, his eyes moved and he saw a figure next to the window. The figure seemed to sense Leieo and turned and fled in a hurry. Leio's face changed and he quickly left the yard. Seeing that the figure was fleeing rapidly, the other party's aura was not strong and there was no innate internal energy. It was just that his figure was agile and very fast. Leio did not stop and followed him over the wall to leave the Thunder Hall. The figure seemed to sense that someone was chasing him from behind and hurriedly went to the alley not far away. Leio also appeared in the alley. At this time, in the alley, a person was standing there, as if waiting for someone to come. Leio entered the alley and saw the person standing in the alley. His pupils suddenly shrank. He had a bad premonition in his heart and turned around to leave. But on the other side of the alley, a man holding a long knife was standing there. Just standing there, Leio felt as if his heart was being pressed down by a heavy mountain. The beating sound became slow. Step, step. At this time, footsteps came from behind him, and he looked behind him unconsciously. Seeing the person coming, his eyes were full of horror. "You are Chen. Why are you here?" He stuttered a little. But fortunately, the pressure from the man holding the knife disappeared. "Why am I here? Of course I'm here to kill you." While Chen was speaking, he kicked the ground with his foot, and his body shot towards Leio. The rain knife in his hand appeared and chopped it out in an instant. The knife was like rain, turning into a white light. The stunned Leio instinctively raised his hand, and a lightning flash appeared in his palm. Lightning patterns flashed in the lightning, and he slapped the rain knife that was coming, trying to block the rain knife in Chen's hand. Swish. But when the long knife touched the lightning and electric energy in his palm, it directly cut through the lightning and slashed towards his palm. Leio's expression changed drastically, and he immediately retracted his palm. But he was still a step too slow, and his palm was directly cut. "Ah!" Leio screamed. He looked at Chen with horror. The long knife in the other party's hand actually cut through his ki gang. He knew that knife. Sumengbe sword Xiao knife. The knife is not bad, but it is impossible to cut off his own lightning without using internal energy. I didn't expect that. I didn't even use internal energy to cut off one of your hands. Chen smiled when he saw this. The sharpness of the Xiao knife exceeded his imagination. Although Leio's hand was made in a panic, the ki generated was not too strong, but this already showed that the Xiao knife was sharp. I originally wanted you to die under Xiao dusk knife technique, but for the time being I don't want people to know that I killed you. So I can only kill you in other ways first, and then cut off your head with Xiao knife. Chen said coldly. He put away the rain blade and raised his left hand. A cold breath condensed in his palm. Suddenly, the temperature of the whole alley dropped rapidly. Leio couldn't help but shiver all over. But this shiver also made him feel at ease. The man with the knife behind him was too scary. As for Chen, he didn't feel that dangerous. He could only leave Chen's side to survive. The remaining hand suddenly clenched into a fist, and the lightning surged. The power of 2 lightnings surged on his fist, and then he blasted towards Chen without hesitation. The fist whistled, and with the power of lightning, it tore the air, making a sharp and piercing sound. Thunder Python power. You haven't even cultivated a python. It's a bit bad. Chen's eyes became cold, and the ice Kirin arm suddenly shrank, and a punch was blasted out, colliding with Leio's fist. Bang! The fists collided, and the cold air on Chen's arm shattered the lightning power, and then directly flowed into Leio's arm. Crack, crack, and soon his arm was frozen by a layer of ice. "Break it for me." Leio was shocked, and his internal energy and blood rushed out frantically, trying to shatter the ice covering his arm. But at this time, a silver light suddenly flashed. Swish! His head rolled to the ground like a ball. As for the cut, no blood flowed out, because it was sealed by a layer of ice. Chen pushed Leio's body down directly, walked to the head with wide eyes, grabbed the other's head, and put it into the space ring. He still had to kill another person. After killing the other person, he would hang the heads of the 2 people at the door of the Lei Hall. He wanted to see the reaction of the Lei family when they saw the 2 heads. Chapter 21, Storm Rising, Primary Beast Taming. The next morning, two heads were hanging at the entrance of the lay hall. There was a pool of dried blood on the ground. The lay hall servant who opened the door was so frightened by the two heads that he screamed. Following his scream, some people quickly appeared in the hall. When they saw the two people at the entrance, they screamed in horror. Seeing two heads hanging early in the morning, everyone screamed, "This is the guardian Lao." One person shouted in a voiceless voice. Then another person quickly went into the hall. After a while, a man in a tight suit appeared at the door. He was one of the four guardians of the Lay Hall, Lao, and was a cousin of Lay Mu, the head of the Lay family. He was one generation older than Lao. Looking at the Lao head hanging in front of the hall, his face became extremely gloomy, and he made a move with his palm. A stream of energy flew out and directly cut the hanging rope, and then grabbed the two heads in his hands. "Search the whole city for me. Find the body of the guardian Lao ordered in a cold voice. The people of the Lay Hall acted instantly, and Lao carried the head into the Lay Hall, and quickly let someone notify Lay Mu, the head of the Lay family, and Lay Mo, the second master. Lay Mu is the head of the Lay family and the head of the Lay Hall. Generally, Lay Mo, the second master of the Lay family, is responsible for handling the affairs of the Lay Hall. But Lao is Lay Mu's godson, and one of the four guardians of the Lay Hall. Killing Lao and hanging his head in the Lay Hall. This is an insult to the Lay Hall. It is a big thing that has been exposed. Soon, the people of the Lay Hall found Lao's body in the alley. This matter quickly spread throughout Chen. Lay Hall is the first force in Chen, and Lao is the guardian of Lay Hall and a big man in Chen. Someone cut off his head and hung it at the door. This became the topic of conversation for everyone in the city. As for the information about people being hung together with Lao, there is not much. The people who chatted did not pay attention. Su family, backyard. Shangwenzian looked at Xiaolan with surprise and said, "You said that the killer and Lao were beheaded and hung at the entrance of Litang. Do you know who killed them?" They just found out about the killer, and now he has been killed, along with Lao. If their heads were not hung at the entrance of Litang, she would have thought that the murderer was killing to silence them. But hanging them at the entrance has a sense of revenge. It should not be the hidden person who killed to silence them. Hiding would not be so high profile. Our people are watching outside, and there is no sound of fighting inside. Xiaolan replied. "Who is it?" "The one watching over there. Bring her to see me." Shangwenzian pondered for a while and asked. "There are no sounds of fighting. There are two possibilities. One is that the person was drugged and unconscious, and the head was cut off. The other is that someone took action and the killer did not react. However, the person is a killer, and his vigilance is very high. It is unlikely that he was drugged and unconscious. The attack made the other party have no reaction, and his strength must be extraordinary. Miss, the person is already in the secret room, and she also brought back the killer's body," Xiaolan said. "Let's go and see the body." Shangwenzian's eyes lit up, and he stood up. The two came to a room on the first floor of the pavilion. Xiaolan pressed a button in the room, and an underground passage appeared in front of them. The walls of the passage were inlaid with some beads that emitted light, illuminating the passage very brightly. The two walked for a while, and a stone door appeared in front of them. Xiaolan stepped forward and pushed open the stone door, and inside was a large stone room. A woman stood inside. The woman was dressed in black, with an ordinary face and average figure, holding a long sword in her hand. When the stone door opened, she looked serious and instinctively showed a look of caution. It seemed that she was a person who had been wandering on the edge of life and death for many years. But when she saw the person coming, she immediately stepped forward and bowed. "Meet the saint." "Is it that body?" Shangwenzian said, looking at the headless body next to the woman in black. "Yes, this matter spread in the morning, and I entered the killer's room as soon as possible and brought the body out," the woman replied. Shangwenzian nodded and came to the body. The killer is a yellow card killer from Jilalao. There are no obvious scars on his body, and there is no residual energy or drug in his body. The other party attacked and killed him with one strike. My subordinates also went to the entrance of Litang and asked some people. Seeing their expressions, Their pupils shrank. They must have been in shock when someone chopped off their heads. From the clues we have, the two people have the same wound, and the person who attacked used a knife. The knife is extremely sharp, and it may have reached the level of a weapon. The woman in black said some information. Shangwen Xian squatted down, touched the wound with his palm, and observed the wound carefully. Then she stood up and said, "That knife should not have reached the weapon level, but it is close. It's just that the knife skills and strength of the person who made the move are extremely extraordinary. He was able to make the yellow card killer of Jiao Lao not even scream." "Are there any clues on Lei Yao's body?" Shangwen Xian asked about the situation of Lei Yao who died with the assassin. "The Lei Hall strictly guards the corpse, so there is no way to investigate," the woman in black said. "Investigate who Lei Yao has been close to recently," Shangwen Xian ordered. Now that the killer and Lei Yao have been killed, they can only look for clues from Lei Yao. At this time, Su Chen slowly woke up from the bed. After killing Lei Yao and the killer last night, Su Chen's thoughts were clear. Some of the previous regrets of the original owner disappeared at that moment, and he felt that his mind was clearer than before. He stretched his waist. He got up from the bed. Looking at the back of the white lottery card showing 3, Su Chen smiled. After killing Lei Yao and the assassin last night, Su Mengbei completed his mission and obtained 3 white lottery cards. The next step is to find out why Qin Hao came to King Cheng. I hope Ling Xian can find out as soon as possible, Su Chen thought to himself. Then he drew 3 white lottery cards. Get a 100,000 silver note, 100 key and blood strengthening pills, and a primary beast taming card. The first 2 are not good things. But the primary beast taming card is very powerful and can control a ferocious beast. Of course, there is also a success rate. Su Chen took these things out and put them directly into the space ring. Pushing open the door, it was sunny outside. Walking out of the courtyard, under the arrangement of Uncle Fu, Su Chen finished his breakfast. This time he had breakfast alone, and he did not see Shangwen Xian and her maid. He had a simple breakfast. Su Chen took a carriage to Jinfeng Xiao Tower. Lei Yao's matter had fermented in the morning. Su Chen, who was sitting in the carriage, could hear people on the street talking about Lei Yao's severed head hanging at the entrance of Lei Hall. Things are fermenting well. What will the people behind Lei Yao and Lei Hall do? Su Chen said coldly in the carriage. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22, Technique Analysis, to kill Ling Xian. When Su Chen went to the Golden Wind and Rain Tower, in the courtyard of the Lei Hall, Lei Yao's body was placed on the white cloth on the ground, and a corpse sewer was sewing Lei Yao's head. There were 5 people in the courtyard. The leader was Lei Mu, the head of the Lei Hall. He was burly and had a fierce face, giving people a feeling of angry King Kong. The other 4 were the deputy head Lei Mu, and the remaining 3 guardians, Lei Yao, Lei Gu, and Lei Muan. The 5 core figures of the Lei Hall today. Go to the meeting room, Lei Gu. Tell us about Lei Yao's situation. Lei Mu went to the meeting room of the Lei Hall while speaking. Entering the meeting room, Lei Yamo waved his hand, and the people in the hall quickly left. Master, Lei Yao was killed by a knife. Before he was killed, he had a brief fight with this person. Judging from the time of death, it should be early morning. First, one of his palms was cut off by someone, and then his head was cut off. Judging from the traces, the person who attacked used a knife, and this knife should be close to the weapon level. Not only does he use a knife, but the opponent is also a strong man who practices cold attribute exercises. There is cold air in Lei Yao's severed palm, and it is condensed and not dispersed. It gives me a sense of chill. The opponent's strength may be above the innate, Lei Gu said. Lei Gu's name is somewhat similar to his figure. He is extremely thin and looks skinny. But there is a haze in his eyes. What about the killer of Jiao Lao? Lei Yao asked on the side. He was also beheaded by someone, but unlike Lei Yao, although his body was taken away by someone else, I have checked the traces at the scene. The killer should not have made any reaction to his beheading. From the wound, it looks like Leiao's. I'm just a little puzzled. The other party and Leiao even fought for a while, but why didn't the killer from Jilalao do it? Leigu said in a deep voice. You mean the killer from Jilalao was not taken away by the person who made the move, but by someone else? Lei Mu asked, as if he noticed something in Leigu's words. Yes. Leigu nodded. He was quite confident about this. That means there are more than one wave of people targeting the killer from Jilalao. Second brother, why is the killer in Leiao's house? Didn't you tell him to let the killer leave as soon as possible? Lei Mu asked with a bad face. I don't know about this either. Leiamo said hurriedly. In his heart, he was cursing Leiao. Tell me, who did this? What did he want to do? Lei Mu did not ask about this matter anymore. Now he wanted to find that person and see what he wanted to do. Master, do you think it has something to do with Jinfeng Ziailao? A middle-aged man who had been silent spoke up. He was Lei Muan, one of the 4 guardians of Litang. The killer was the one from Jilalao who was hired by Leiao without telling us. Now Leiao and the killer from Jilalao were killed at the same time. He was also hanging at the door of my Litang. It was completely revenge, so it should be the work of Jinfeng Ziailao. Lei Muan continued. But now Jinfeng Ziailao is headed by Ling Xian, and Su Chen is just a puppet. Ling Xian is a smart man. He will not drag Jinfeng Ziailao to be buried with Su Mengbei. Lei Mu shook his head. Master, Leiao, went to force Ling Xian to hand over the Huacan mine these 2 days. There are Kangming stones deep in the mine. For the Red Sand Palace, they need the ore for a long time. If he wants the Red Sand Palace to help him, he needs to package the Kangming mine. Leiao forced him so much that he is desperate now, so he killed Leiao and the assassin to threaten us. Lei Muan said in a deep voice. Ling Xian, an old guy who is not even in the late stage of Xianshan, dares to threaten our Lei Hall. Master, I will break his neck. Leiao said. Kill him. We really can't kill him now. Lei Muan said in a deep voice. Why can't we kill Ling Xian? Lei Mu frowned and asked in a deep voice. I think this deputy master should know. Lei Muan looked at Leiamo and said. I know. There was some surprise on his face. He didn't understand the meaning of Lei Muan's words. Who is Leiao working for? He is working for young Master Qin. He also took the initiative to hire the assassins from Jiao Tower to kill Su Mengbei. Ling Xian should know about this, otherwise he wouldn't be so arrogant to kill Leiao and the assassins from Jiao Tower and hang them at the door of my Lei Hall. I think this kind of news will spread soon, and the people from Zitan Palace will arrive in Qingcheng in a few days. This matter will ferment in the next few days. If we kill Ling Xian, then the people from Zitan Palace will take action against my Lei family without discussing it with us. Although our Lei Hall has a relationship with young Master Qin, facing Zitan Palace, young Master Qin should not offend Zitan Palace for us. Lei Muan said with a bad look. Are we going to let Ling Xian go like this? Lei Muan's face became gloomy. If we can't kill Ling Xian, we can kill Su Chen. Doesn't Ling Xian want to be the owner of the building? We can kill Su Chen in the name of Ling Xian. Isn't the person from Zitan Palace related to Su Mengbei? In that case, Ling Xian should not survive if the person knows that Su Chen is killed. Leiao said. Ling Xian is a shrewd man who controls the spies of Jinfeng Xiao building. He dared to do this, so he must have a trump card. Maybe he is waiting for us to kill Su Chen. Killing Su Chen will allow him to truly take over Jinfeng Xiao building. Leiamo said in a deep voice. As soon as he said this, the atmosphere in the hall became tense. You are so timid. Is it really so difficult to kill a person? At this time, a figure walked in from outside the hall, dressed in black. It was that old demo. Old demo. Seeing the person coming, the 5 people in the hall saluted slightly. You dare not kill. I will help you kill Su Chen. Ling Xian is fine. What I want is for you to control the Kangming mine as soon as possible. That old demo said in a cold voice. Hearing the old man's words, the 5 people in the hall showed joy on their faces. Lei Mu stepped forward and said, it would be best if Mr. Mo is willing to help. Now the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower is managed by the old man Ling Xian. He just refused to give the Kangming mine. If Mr. Mo can kill him, leave the puppet Su Chen. I think if Su Chen doesn't want to die, he will hand over the Kangming mine. Lei Mu said. Okay, today is the day Ling Xian dies. Mr. Mo said coldly. I came here for another reason. The Kangming mine has been used up before. You should transport another batch as soon as possible. By the way, tell Mr. Qin that the formation he used last time is about to break. Let him rearrange it. After saying that, the old man turned and left the hall. In the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower, Ling Xian received a secret letter. The secret letter was the information of Mr. Mo, who appeared in the hall of Litang. Mo beaming, a mid-stage master of the magic sect outside the Great Wall. Chapter 23, Changhan Palace, Invitation. Mo beaming has been active outside the Great Wall, and rarely enters the Great Wall. This time he came to King Cheng for something. Could it be related to the 5th grade Lotus platform? Thinking of this, Ling Xian's eyes condensed. Perhaps investigating this Mo beaming will yield great results. His fingers touched a thin rope under the table. Then a man in black appeared in front of him. Investigate this Mo beaming. I want to know all his recent movements and where he is now. Ling Xian ordered. Yes. The man in black left quickly. After the man in black left, Ling Xian glanced at the hourglass in front of him, stood up and came to a place, pressing his palm on the side of the wall. A staircase appeared. The intelligence location of the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower is underground in the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower. At this time, Su Chen's carriage had arrived in front of the Golden Phoenix Drizzle Tower. After getting out of the carriage, the sky outside was a little gloomy, and a drizzle fell from the sky. I didn't expect that I would have this drizzle during these few days. It really took care of me. Su Chen looked at the sky and said softly, King Cheng is a place outside the Great Wall. It is rare to see such weather here. I don't know why there is so much weather like this recently. He stepped into the Golden Wind and Rain Tower. Meet the Tower Master. Meet the Tower Master. The disciples in the tower saluted when they saw Su Chen. Although they knew that Su Chen was a puppet of Deputy Tower Master Ling. But no matter what, Su Chen was still the Tower Master after all, and they should respect him. Soon Su Chen came to the 5th floor. The 5th floor was still very quiet. Not long after he sat down, Ling Xian appeared. After saluting Su Chen, he quietly waited for Su Chen's questions. What's the movement of the Lei family? Su Chen asked. Last night, he hung the heads of Lei Yao and the assassin in front of the Lei Hall. Lei Hall should not be able to tolerate it, and will definitely make a move. Lei Mu and others from the Thunder Hall gathered early in the morning, but then the demonic person Mo beaming showed up. After a conversation, Mo beaming left, while Lei Mu and others are still in the Thunder Hall for the time being. Ling Xian said. Who is this Mo beaming? Su Chen asked. Mo beaming is a demonic person, with a strength in the middle stage of the spirit refining realm. He does things by any means necessary and is ruthless. He has been wanted by the Sword Sect, one of the 10 major sects in Lingnan County, and rarely comes to King Cheng. This time he showed up at the Lei family. He should have colluded with the Lei family and Qin Hao. I guess they might be after the 5th grade Lotus platform. Ling Xian said. 5th grade Lotus platform. Su Chen narrowed his eyes slightly when he heard this. Some time ago, such news was spread on the black market. Investigate this matter immediately. I want to confirm the correctness of this matter, Su Chen said. He has a mission about Qin Hao coming here. If it is confirmed that he came for the item Lotus platform, then his mission can be completed quickly. I have sent people to investigate. Also, the body of the assassin killed by the master last night was taken away by someone, and I haven't found out about that person. Ling Xian said. I know who took him away, you don't need to ask. Su Chen waved his hand. The body of the assassin was taken away by Shangwen Xian's men. Bei Xianyu had already told him last night. Hearing that Su Chen knew who took the body away, Ling Xian did not ask any more questions, bowed and retreated, and ordered people not to enter the 5th floor. Not long after Ling Xian left, a young servant wearing the clothes of the Golden Wind and Rain Tower came up from downstairs. Su Chen's eyes moved slightly in the room, but he pretended not to notice it, and turned back to lie on the bench for a nap. The servant entered the pavilion, and pushed open Su Chen's door directly. The other party did not seem to intend to conceal his whereabouts. Su Chen also opened his eyes from his nap, looked at the person who came in, and said, "You should not be from my golden wind and rain tower, Master Su. I came here this time on behalf of our wife, and I would like to ask you to meet." An old female voice came out of the servant's mouth. The voice and appearance were totally inconsistent, probably a disguise. The person looked at Su Chen with a hint of doubt in his eyes. Su Chen's tone and appearance were too calm. "Your wife." Su Chen's eyes condensed. "Our wife is from Changhan Palace. If Master Su wants to control Jinfeng Xiu Tower, cooperating with our wife is the best choice. This is the place and time. I think Master Su will go." A letter shot out of the servant's hand and landed on the table in front of him. Su Chen looked at the letter. At this moment, the young servant jumped out of the window and landed on the roof not far away. He landed lightly on the roof and left quickly. Su Chen looked at the letter with a slightly condensed look in his eyes. He opened it. The letter was very simple. "In the city, Xian Lake, ship number 15, 8 o'clock in the evening. Changhan Palace? Madam? Could it be the one behind Yuan?" Su Chen thought in his heart. Changhan Palace, the Lingnan County branch, is one of the top 10 sects in Lingnan. This force controls 1/5 of the flower shops in Lingnan County, and its financial resources and intelligence are not simple. Su Chen has also learned some information in the past few days, and knows that Yuan Garden belongs to Changhan Palace. Why are they looking for me? Jinfeng Xiu Tower and Yuan Garden have a certain competitive relationship in secret. Could it be that they want to use me to swallow up my Jinfeng Xiu Tower's intelligence network in Qingcheng? Su Chen thought in his heart. First, go meet the lady of Changhan Palace and see what she thinks. With a strong man like Bei Xianyu in the soul refining realm by his side, plus his own strength is not bad, there is no problem with safety. So Su Chen wanted to see what tricks the other party would play. At this time, on the street, Mo beaming, wearing a black robe, was coming towards the golden wind and rainy rain tower. For a strong man like him, there was no need for him to hide his figure. He wanted to kill Ling Xian head on. Killing Ling Xian would also make the golden wind and rainy rain tower sense the crisis and hand over the Kangming mine obediently. Ling Xian got the news that Emma Beaming was coming to the golden wind and rainy rain tower at the first time. His eyes were uncertain. Could it be that the Lei family asked Emma Beaming to come and deal with my golden wind and rainy rain tower? Ling Xian thought so. Then he came to Su Chen's room from the secret passage. Emma Beaming is coming. Who do you think he is going to deal with? Su Chen said. According to the analysis of my subordinates, he may be here to kill me. The Lei family thinks that I asked someone to kill Lei Yao. Ling Xian said. Lei Yao came to him twice, and his head was cut off after both times. The people of the Lei family did not doubt him, so who else would they doubt? Speaking of this, he became a little nervous. His own strength has not even reached the late stage of Xianshan, and the other party is in the middle stage of refining spirit. It is estimated that he will not be able to withstand 3 moves in the hands of the other party. Don't worry, someone will help you when the time comes. Looking at Ling Xian's nervous expression, Su Chen spoke. Su Chen decided to let Bei Xianyu show up and take action. Another place. In the underground secret room of a house in Qingcheng. Half of Qin Heo's body was immersed in a pool of blood. The blood in the pool was eroding his skin, entering his body, and fusing with his blood and bones. A look of pain emanated from his face, making his face look hideous. Kai Kai. As time went on, a red light emanated from Qin Heo's body, forming a heat wave that swept out. After a while, Qin Heo opened his eyes and sighed. I'm almost able to break through to the realm of refining spirit. Chapter 24. Bloodthirsty Flood Dragon Picture. Bei Xianyu appears face to face. He raised his hand and grabbed it. The clothes beside the pool flew into his hands, put them on, and walked out of the blood pool. Looking at the blood pool that had consumed a lot of blood, Qin Heo sighed. Ordinary blood has become less and less effective in improving my strength. If I want to break through to the soul refining realm, I'm afraid I need to add some blood from an 8 warriors. As he spoke, he came to the stone door of the secret room. At this time, an old man stood outside the door. Seeing Qin Heo coming out, he stepped forward and said, Master, Lei Yao and the killer from Jile Tower were killed last night. The person who attacked was very powerful. He cut off the head with one knife. The weapon should be close to the weapon level. And there is some ice attributed internal energy on Lei Yao's arm. He should be a warrior who practices ice attributed exercises. His strength has at least entered the soul refining realm. Lei Yao, he helped me do a lot of things. It's a pity that he died just like that. Do you know who killed him? Hearing the old man's words, Qin Hao asked. The people in the Thunder Hall think that Ling Xian sent someone to do it. When Emma Beaming went to the Thunder Hall, he promised to help them kill Ling Xian. Now Emma Beaming is on his way to the Golden Wind and Rain Tower. The old man said. Emma Beaming is not there to watch the 5th grade Lotus platform. Why would he help the Lei family? Qin Hao asked with some confusion. It should be for the Kangming stone. Now King Chen can't produce many Kangming stones. Emma Beaming is anxious and help the Lei family kill Ling Xian so that they can quickly take over the Kangming mine. There is also news from the Lei family that the formation that conceals the aura of the 5th grade Lotus platform is about to disappear, so we have to repair it. The old man said. Then please trouble Elder Zhu to cover it up again, and our plan should be over. How is my blood-sucking dragon diagram being refined? Qin Hao asked afterwards. It's still a little short, but it should be completed before Mukingsu comes. By then, young master, with the blood-sucking dragon diagram and the blood of the innate warrior, you should be able to enter the realm of refining the spirit. The old man said. Okay, let's go to the Golden Wind and Rain Tower now. I want to see what cards this Ling Xian has, that he dares to kill Lei Yao. Qin Hao said in a deep voice. Lei Yao was the one who was doing the work for him, but Ling Xian asked someone to kill him. This was a provocation to him, and he wanted to see how confident the other party was. At this moment, in the Juxin Hall, Zeman Muai's face became solemn after hearing Qin Zinyuan's report. His right hand unconsciously knocked on the armrest. Master, is this Ling Xian looking for death? He actually asked someone to kill Lei Yao at this time. Qin Zinyuan said coldly. What about the person who was hanging with Lei Yao? Has his identity been found out? Zeman Muai asked in a deep voice. He didn't care about Lei Yao's death, but wanted to know the information of the person hanging with Lei Yao. There is only one head, and the identity cannot be found out. Qin Zinyuan said. Is that so? Zeman Muai frowned. At this time, a middle-aged man rushed into the hall. Master, the Outlander Emma Beaming is heading towards the Golden Wind and Rain Tower. He just came out of the Lei family. It seems that the Lei family offered him a price to deal with the Golden Phoenix and Rain Tower. The middle-aged man said anxiously. Is Emma Beaming going to the Golden Wind and Rain Tower? Let's go to the Golden Wind and Rain Tower now. Zeman Muai stood up while talking and said to the two. Then the three of them left the Juxin Hall and headed towards the Golden Wind and Rain Tower. Emma Beaming's speed was neither fast nor slow. Perhaps he deliberately controlled the speed in this way, just to let the news spread and make the Golden Wind and Rain Tower feel panic. It would be more interesting to kill in this way. On the street outside the Golden Wind and Rain Tower, a two-story tea house, an old man in a clerk's uniform and a big man in a strong suit stood by the window of the private room. The two of them were the second masters of the dining hall, Shan Zifeng, whose strength was in the late Xiantian period. The strong man beside him was at the peak of the postnatal realm. His realm was not high, but his physical strength was huge. It was estimated that even an ordinary alienate strongman might not be able to defeat him. Hall Master, it seems that Ling Xian is doomed to die today. Let him eliminate our people. Good death. The strong man said. Ling Xian is shrewd and cunning. He dared to take action. He must have a trump card in his hand. We are here to watch the show today. As long as Ling Xian is killed today, we will leave and contact Su Chen to buy some shops in the Golden Wind and Rain Tower from him. I think Su Chen should give us. Shan Zifeng said. Not only this old man, many people, or many forces. Old established forces, newly rising forces, and external forces. They are all waiting. As long as Ling Xian is killed today, they will contact Su Chen. Ling Xian's death must be a blow to Su Chen. Then Su Chen probably dare not stay in Qingcheng. He will definitely sell the property of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower and flee. In that case, even if the people of Zitan Palace come, they can't say anything, and they didn't force the sale. What's more, Zitan Palace doesn't look down on those industries. Master, MOB Ming will arrive at our Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower in a quarter of an hour. Ling Xian said beside Su Chen. The masters I prepared for you are waiting for you in your room, Su Chen said. The voice was calm, and he didn't take MOB Ming seriously at all. But this MOB Ming is not a concern. But before he dies, try to find out the purpose of his coming. MOB Ming, a demonic figure, is a selfish person. How could he easily help the Lei family? Su Chen ordered. Yes. Ling Xian bowed and retreated. In Ling Xian's room, the invincible divine sword Bei Xianai was standing by the window. He was a bit burly, holding a long sword, and his eyes were looking outside. When Ling Xian appeared, Bei Xianai's expression did not change at all. But when he walked in, Ling Xian's pupils suddenly locked. He could not sense the breath of the other party. Although he was only in the middle stage of the innate, he could not sense a trace of breath. His strength was absolutely terrifying. I'm Ling Xian, meet the senior. Although he looked older than Bei Xianai, he still respectfully called Bei Xianai a senior. My name is Bei Xianai. Bei Xianai said simply. Although he has a generous personality, he is not familiar with this world, and his heart is lonely here. Senior Bei, the owner of the building asked me to go with you to deal with MOB Ming. Ling Xian said very respectfully. Let's go. Bei Xianai nodded. The two walked out of Ling Xian's room and headed towards the hall of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. At this time, the disciples of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower saw Bei Xianai coming down from the upstairs, and their eyes were full of surprise. They didn't see this person enter the building, but this person walked out of Deputy Tower Master Ling's room. It must be a master invited by Deputy Tower Master Ling. I wonder if he can deal with MOB Ming, some people thought. Chapter 25, Storm, split in half. Senior Bei, should we wait here, or? Ling Xian asked after going downstairs. Go and kill him. Bei Xianai said. In his eyes, MOB Ming was just a small character, and he didn't want to waste too much time. Now that Su Chen was unprotected, he had to quickly deal with his opponent and return to Su Chen. Okay. Ling Xian followed Bei Xianai out of the Golden Wind and Rain Tower. Upstairs, Su Chen also stood in front of the window and looked out. Above the sky, the drizzle fell gently, and the air seemed a little cold. And some people in the tea houses and restaurants outside the Golden Wind and Rain Tower who were paying attention to the situation here all looked at Ling Xian and Bei Xianai who walked out of the building. Who is the person holding the long knife? Seeing this situation, the second head of the dining hall asked with a condensed look. I haven't seen this person before. What are they going to do? Are they going to see MOB Ming? The strong man looked at Ling Xian and the two who walked out of the Golden Wind and Rain Tower, and said with a horrified face. Need I say more? This person should be Ling Xian's trump card. No wonder he dared to kill the people from the Thunder Hall. Shan Zifeng, the second head of the dining hall, had a gloomy look in his eyes. I was thinking that the dining hall could take over some shops in the Golden Wind and Rain Tower today. Now looking at the situation, it might be a little difficult. Although Ling Xian's strength is a little weak, he is also very shrewd and has a grasp of the situation in the Golden Wind and Rain Tower. He knows the situation of MOB Ming. He dared to bring people with him. That means that, even if this person can't kill MOB Ming, he can definitely deal with MOB Ming. It seems that he sensed that the atmosphere was wrong. Pedestrians on the street left quickly, and it suddenly became quiet. On one side of the street, MOB Ming, a man in black, has appeared. At this moment, he also saw Bei Xianai walking in front of Ling Xian with a long sword in his arms. His pupils suddenly shrank, his eyes became sharp, and he stopped and looked at Bei Xianai. He wanted to see if there was such a knife master in his memory, but after searching through his memories, there was no such person. Are you the knife man who helped Ling Xian kill people? I'm here to kill Ling Xian today. If you want to protect him, I'll kill you. MOB Ming looked at Bei Xianai and said coldly. Bei Xianai's eyes were calm, and he continued to walk towards him, as if he didn't hear what MOB Ming said. Master, this person doesn't seem to take MOB Ming seriously. In a wing room, several people from the Lei Hall looked out the window, and Lei Mo frowned and said. The others also looked solemn at this time. They first guessed that there was someone around Ling Xian. That's why they asked MOB Ming to take action. Emo Beaming's strength, the middle stage of the refining spirit, is an absolute master in King Chen. And they believe that, even if Ling Xian asks for help, he will not ask for a master in the middle stage of the refining spirit. Let's see first, how can Emo Beaming tolerate this person's contempt for Emo Beaming? Lei Mu's eyes flashed. Although he was surprised by the appearance of Bei Xianyu, but he also believed in Emo Beaming's strength. On the street, Emo Beaming's eyes were filled with gloom. The man holding the knife didn't even take him seriously. Then let me see how capable you are. Emo Beaming grabbed his palm, and the true energy in his palm burst out, gathering the drizzling rain from the sky in his palm, and then slapped it out with one palm. Those gathered raindrops whistled out, attacking Bei Xianyu like a rain of arrows. Seeing this whistling rain of arrows, Bei Xianyu's eyes did not change. A knife aura emerged from his body, forming a knife shield. Those whistling rain of arrows hit the air shield, only causing ripples, but did not shatter the air shield. Looking at the blocked arrows, Emo Beaming's eyes condensed. He didn't expect that his attack would be blocked so easily by the opponent. But when the Qi Gang emerged from Bei Xianyu's body, he didn't sense the danger. So he stepped on the ground, his figure turned into a black shadow, and appeared in front of Bei Xianyu in the blink of an eye. A blood-colored light appeared in his palm, with a domineering blood fluctuation in the light, and he slapped Bei Xianyu without hesitation. The palm print whistled, tearing through the continuous drizzle. There was a sound of breaking wind, and Bei Xianyu could smell a bloody smell in his nostrils. Bei Xianyu turned his footsteps, and dodged the palm like a ghost. Emo Beaming's palm missed, but he turned his body back. His palm became a claw, and directly clawed at Bei Xianyu's abdomen. The blood-colored energy flowed through the fingertips, which seemed unusually sharp. Bei Xianyu turned again, and his body turned into a phantom. At a speed that was difficult for the naked eye to grasp, he escaped from Emo Beaming's attack range. After missing again, Emo Beaming's heart sank, and he stopped his body, looking at Bei Xianyu with vigilant eyes. His two attacks were easily avoided by the opponent. The opponent's footsteps and light skills were definitely better than his own. What's more, the opponent was holding a long sword, so he was definitely a sword user, and the power of the sword must be extraordinary. Who are you? He looked at Bei Xianyu, and said in a deep voice. This seat, Bei Xianyu, I have seen your strength, so I will send you on your way now. Bei Xianyu's voice fell, and his figure turned into a phantom, appearing in front of Emo Beaming. Then a cold light suddenly bloomed from his hand. Emo Beaming, who was facing him, suddenly felt an extreme sense of danger in his heart. He twisted his body and wanted to escape, but Bei Xianyu had already drawn his knife. The people outside only saw a knife shadow appear. As the knife shadow appeared, a sharp knife whistled, and the sharp knife energy raged. The drizzle in the sky disappeared. Only a knife light flashed in front of Emo Beaming. Then the knife light suddenly disappeared. The drizzle that had disappeared in the sky continued to fall. On the street, Emo Beaming was still standing there. His eyes were wide open, and there were still some knife shadows in his eyes. When the knife shadows dissipated, his body was directly split into two. Gulping blood flowed out of half of his body, mixed with the rain on the ground. The people watching the fight stood up instantly, with horror in their eyes. One knife. The swordsman who called himself Bei Xianyu killed Emo Beaming, who was in the middle stage of the soul refining, with one knife. Drop by drop, the sound of the drizzle dripping on the ground was echoing in the street. After a while, there were bursts of breathing sounds. When they looked at Bei Xianyu again, Bei Xianyu had already turned and went to the Golden Wind and Rain building. Behind him, Ling Xian's eyes were horrified. He killed Emo Beaming with one knife. What level is Senior Bei's strength? It should be Senior Bei who suppressed him that night. The owner of the building has such a strong person beside him. It seems that the matter of King Chen is not difficult now. He will not be in danger for the time being. And he can also talk to Kinheo of the Qin family, and then he can help the owner of the building know the purpose of Kinheo's coming. His eyes unconsciously looked towards one place. That place was the wing room where the people from Litang were. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.